Otherwise, you're just standing on a soapbox screaming, you're spitting everywhere, and I don't want to catch corona, okay?
Okay, give me a moment. Let me just screenshot.
I just want to thank you to CCP for making my wishes and dreams come true and just taking my word as a given and implementing it into the game. All the changes I'm responsible for. So thank you, CCP, for doing exactly what I want and helping me ruin Good Swarm's game.
Dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did, and it's like...
Hello, fellow dropping the buckets. How's it
Zero,
going?
that's him. That's him right there.
Oh my god, it's
him.
me.
That's him right
The man
there.
himself.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
It's me! Oh my god!
Yes, the man, the myth, the legend.
I love killing people. I'll kill people for everything they have.
Your alliance will be dead soon. Right?
I do need to do something for the people in chat. That would be inconceivable. Okay.
And Redline, where the fuck is my mug?
I won. More ass.
Oh my god, that dude missed. Oh shit. Oh shit. Right there. What? You didn't decloak me? That was right on top of me.
K Scientific, and who's SDK Scientific part of?
The initiative.
And who does this Sotio belong to that's just recently died?
That was Horst.
Where was that at home?
Remember Ravika? What the fuck is Ravika?
Ravika's the new origin.
Ravika...
Wormhole, bro.
Guess where goons are gonna live after this war is over?
Current plan is 319, I believe, right?
Delve.
Hi, sick.
Rich goes puts the works and he reports people. I literally fucking declared war on these people for 8 months. What the fuck have you done?
I was declaring.
What the fuck have you done, bitch? Nothing. So why don't you fucking shut your goddamn mouth and get out there and report some bots if you want to talk about it? Why didn't you jump in today then? It's like big Titan cash. Where are your fucking balls at? You want to throw some Titans down like an X47? He's like, oh, we got so many Titans, we'll lose 3-1. But guess what? Those fucking balls don't seem to be anywheres anymore.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Delve, and people tell me, oh look, there's a super die in Delve. So it's like,
what are you even talking about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers dying in Delve. Why does everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in Delve?
Shut up.
Christ.
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy.
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
Well, it is Trash Talk Tuesday.
I was saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, alphas and omegas, welcome one and all to Trash Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Redline13, joined by a bunch of other folks in the chat, including, but not limited to, Rain Chocolate.
Hello.
Loki Choco Chips.
Hello.
Dominarch.
Oh, hello.
Rich Richmond.
Hello.
Jeremy and the Dari.
Howdy.
Dalek.
Good day, y'all.
Dominarch.
Here already.
Rundle All-Nighter.
Hey, everyone.
Helios. Jin May.
Hello.
Jaliant.
Hello.
And Unknown.
What's shaking?
And muted and deafened is Wagon Arnst, who we're not going to get a hey from. But hey, we're all here, and it's the last show of 2020, and god damn, am I glad that this year is almost over. Can't wait for this all to just become 2021 already, so that we can blow up more spaceships.
More fun.
21 is a good number.
21 is a good number. So tonight is kind of going to be an interesting show unless it devolves like it normally does, which this evening we are going to be talking about how Dread Bomb feeds Dreads. Like they should be called Dread Feed instead of Dread Bomb. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to go over some of our best stories from 2020 and Eve. And one of the cool things about this show is that it's always been about the people who watch it. So if you feel like jumping into the Discord and giving us, your story, your best 2020 story so far, it's not quite over yet, then you can feel free to hop in. We'll drag you in. You can speak your piece and then get the fuck out. So we're also going to talk about the November MER update, as well as the ecosystem outlook that CCP posted. And that all starts right now as soon as I stop talking. So where do you guys want to start tonight?
The review video that CCP will make for you. They're pretty funny.
They are funny, especially when you select topics, check all the boxes of shit that you don't do.
I didn't think it'd be zeros.
I think some of it's kind of busted because I definitely did some stuff and it showed up as zeros. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
So I kind of wish I knew more of their criteria, but I still think it's really sweet that they do something like this.
And it seems like you're in the top 1 or 2% no matter what you do because.
Oh no! If you do zero, you're in the 99%.
I got some that are a solid 55, top 45, top 65. Like I got, some industrial things. I don't do industry, but I did a little
1 or 2% and everything up shows. So
Yeah. Well, hey, good for you. That's
not
solid.
all of us can do that, I guess.
Not on all the
all
characters. No.
All I know is that my video said that I bought 78,000 HyperNet nodes, which I don't think is right, but it could be.
You degenerate gamble. That was from all of your Vendetta adventures.
I saw Lee's and he had over 1 million. Like, how long would it take you to click to get 1 million fucking tickets?
1-800 bets off, maybe.
Did you win any Redline?
Yeah, my biggest win was a Barghest that I got for like 100 million or something like that.
That's
But
cool.
I certainly didn't bid on 78,000 of them. There haven't been that many Vendettas on the HyperNet, and that's about all I bid on now is Vendettas, because like I desperately want a Vendetta, but I refuse to pay 150 billion ISK for it. So like, well, not refuse to pay.
So you'll eventually pay for it after you try 100 times.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I would do a payment plan of like several billion ISK a month or something like that.
Why don't you find out where they drop and go after it and try to get the drop?
I know where they drop. I just don't have the means or the motivation to go and seek out such content.
Can't build one either.
Yeah,
It's true.
I guess it's just priorities.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what
Eve
it
is hard, man.
Eve is hard. Eve is real hard. So do you guys want to talk about how hard Eve is first, with the economy stuff?
Nerfs that just hit? Yeah.
It's for the health of the game, right? It's the only reason they would make changes like this.
Is
I
it,
feel healthy.
though?
Well, I mean, you think about it.
Changed things quite a bit.
I believe that they believe so. I honestly, I think they do believe it, but they're wrong. I mean,
So here's the crazy thing, right? You'd assume that everybody would be on the same page about it, that everybody would either be for or against it. But that is not the case at all.
I'm for the ESS.
no, you are correct. It's not the case within the groups either.
Right, like you would think that all of nullsec would be like, grrr, change is bad. And then all of the people that aren't in nullsec would be like, hey, change is good, fuck nullsec. But that's not even the case.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I found too.
I think if they would have done the ESS and then waited a few weeks and then did the bounty risk modifier if it warranted, it would have been good. But putting them both at the same time, it was kind of a big hit.
Well, and that was...
I'm talking more about the minerals, though. That's the one that people are pissed about.
The minerals, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the minerals really suck. Because I used to do a Titan in 45 days.
It doesn't bother me at all because apparently to my video, I didn't mine at all last year.
So the thing I noticed though is that the DBS and the ESS, the dynamic bounty system, and the encounter surveillance system, they were meant to go together because they are, so one is a take and one is a give, right? And that's kind of the thing.
The problem
so, like,
is they didn't balance it with the security settings of individual systems. Because depending on the security settings, is whether or not people will rat there, because whether or not there's enough good enough good anomalies.
Well, that's kind of the thing, though, is that you have the anomalies, but if you're making more money from easier anomalies, then you might just go ahead and run the easier anomalies, right?
Okay, so like going to a system
Well,
that's at 130% and
Uh-huh.
running the subpar anomalies is about the same as doing a 60% in the good anomalies.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and I can see why you wouldn't want to do that.
well, a lot of the my guys are just nomad ratting in the NPC space because they have really good risk factor and no ESS.
Yeah, the NPC space is like the
Well,
gold mine right now.
Really?
yeah.
So like nullsec sovereign space is less
Yeah, it's
bountiful, we'll say, than NPC space?
Yeah, you have
yeah.
the bonus to the bounty risk modifier, but you don't have ESSs, so it's a big deal.
That's crazy.
We don't have those spaces in Malpace, by the
Well,
way. Yeah.
and Wagon, you're in frat, so I mean, your alliance is probably, I mean, probably the biggest hit with these changes because you guys are raking in trillions of ISK and ratting every month.
Yeah.
So if you were to like, I think Owasa and the general area was at like 4 or 5 trillion on the MER. How much?
Plus together, along with our renters, it's nearing, let's say, 7 trillion or 8 trillion.
And how much
And
is it
that
with the
was
That's a week. That's fucking.
For the
That's
guys
a
that have
month.
their whole alliance
Yeah, it's a
behind
month.
ratting,
Okay.
if
I thought
you
you said a
actually
week.
have a response fleet and
Christ.
you're moving around and you have a system for which systems to hit ratting, you can actually make more money now than you did before. But for the casual ratting guys, you make a lot less.
Yeah, because there's some people that are, let's just say, not so bright. They rather rat in a system that has like 40%, rather than just moving the next door over and rat at like maybe 70 or 80%.
Response fleets.
Right there.
Bots,
They're
people.
by themselves, basically.
Well,
Yeah.
you get your like once you get into your system, because I used to super carry a rat when I was in goons, and nothing could have gotten me out of the systems that I was ratting in. There was like a handful of them. It was all in one constellation. There's a keep star right in the middle that I would pack up every day. I would keep my stock of MTUs just in case random bombers would come and kill them. I would keep like spare Sino ships and stuff, all in that little keep star there. And having to move that from place to place would have been super toxic, almost as toxic as Jeremy.
So when you're multi-boxing and you're ratting in one system, it's really hard to keep track of. Let's say if you have 5 accounts, if you have 5 different systems you're ratting in, it would be very hard to keep track of local and how far away the newts are and when you should dock up, stuff like that. Unless you had, help
have to be in a dead end.
outside software.
No,
So
you just need to be in a dead end, and you have eyes in the front. Yeah, or you use near 2, which is not against the EULA.
Yeah,
but
all of our end systems, the dead end systems that are high or low security systems, are all at about 40-50%.
Yeah,
honestly, that near 2 shit, the local, like, that's fucking disgusting how safe it is to do that.
Yeah, I know. I used to use it, and I was like, oh, and it's just too easy. I'd rather just take the risk.
With filaments, it's a little more difficult.
Is it though when you have Is it though when you have like people in every system ratting?
Is it though when if you're gonna warp in your I don't know, if you're warping in the super
when they
or
film
carrier?
it in and they immediately go to the ESS and they have more than what you can take on as an individual, it is difficult. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
I
how
am
much can
gonna
you?
throw.
How much? I was just gonna say, how much can you filament in? Really, honestly, right? With a super.
25 characters.
25 people.
So
Yeah,
I am
so-
gonna throw a poll in the chat real quick. So it's at the top of the chat bar, and I just want to gauge your opinions on what you think about Eve's ecosystem right now, because we just had that ecosystem outlook update. From what I can tell, CCP seems to think that they're going in the right direction, and I just want to see if you think that that's a thing that's happening.
Oh, I hate it because I can't weld battleships anymore.
I mean, you can. It just costs you more, right?
Yeah, it costs me more. It's like a faction battleship is like 700 mil now. It's like no.
Well, maybe don't whelp faction battleships then. Just whelp the regular
No.
battleships. You know.
Well, the regular battleships still have pretty good insurance, so you can still
I think
get them
Yeah.
killed and only lose 100
when
mil.
they nerfed the ESS down from 3 hours to 2 hours, the ESS is now more of a good thing than a bad thing. It actually brings content. It's not too punishing when they get it. But the bounty risk modifier is still kind of prohibitive.
Well, maybe stop ratting in that corner, the damp little corner. Four jumps down the pipe because you can't deal with the fact that potentially hostiles might come. Like, good God!
No, it's not
go
true.
rat in the
It's
group.
not true,
Go
dude.
rat with your friends.
Hold
Go
on a
rat in the
second,
fleets.
hold on a second.
Listen.
So you're
As a
your
wormholer,
lower,
Rich, you can't
your
say shit
lower-
like that.
Your lower
We don't even have
security
local.
systems-
Our rats scram us.
No, you don't have
They
local,
implement
but
scam.
you
We're
literally
TVP
have
wormholes is 100% safe. They've already
you
explained this to
literally
CCP.
The
have
number
a
of combat
scanner that'll
anomalies.
tell you when there's a new way to get into your wormhole, and you can crit it immediately. Like,
You
come on.
also can have door
we
stops
cannot crit it
to
immediately.
prevent anyone from getting to you.
You
You also can
The
just
fuck
roll
you mean
them
we
and nothing will actually
It's
get
not
in.
about
Okay, so
being
we're gonna
safe.
leave
Wormholes
enough.
are
It's about
safer
being in a
than
security
nullsec.
system that
Well,
has
why don't you
100%.
come rat in the
support enough
wormhole?
anomalies.
I do.
They do.
You
Half
do?
of people who
Yes.
live in nullsec rat in wormholes, dude. Are you kidding me? Little low class wormholes, sure, but like it's so much safer to rat in wormholes to do anything in wormholes than it is in nullsec now.
I have to
Right.
agree. It's actually
The downside comes when some guys decide they want your hole and roll
Evict
you out
you.
of it, and then destroy everything that you worked to build.
Or someone
And
rolls
Redline,
into
just so
you.
you know,
That's about
keeping being able to immediately crit any hole that spawns, that requires a full set of rolling characters. And to do that, you need
You need one person. One
no,
person
you
can do it.
need
No,
four
one
characters
person
to do it
can do it.
immediately. You
Yeah,
need
and
four
one person
characters.
can do it.
Actually,
People have done it
five.
forever.
In a C5
You
it's
need
5.
People have
It's a
done it
C5. It's
forever.
5.
You run a Megathron and a rolling carrier.
5 carriers. So
That's all you need.
Yeah, and okay, rolling carrier
3
requires you
people
to
at
hold the
most.
hole.
Wait, is it
And you need,
C4
wait a minute,
people?
wait a minute. You need a very large. You need a very large hole to put a
But
rolling carrier. If you don't have very
here's
large,
the thing.
you're shit out of luck.
Here's the thing, Rich, is
Good
that
way to segue right
when
into
you
like wormhole
hey,
bullshit.
Man,
let's
you
stop
guys have no
interrupting each
fucking
other,
nothing
shall
about
we?
wormholes.
What we're talking about.
Hey, let's stop interrupting each other, shall we? Because
I
Wormholes
lived
don't have
in a
ESS
shut the
wormhole.
fuck up.
or bounty.
So, Rich, the thing is that like when you see a new wormhole pop up, yeah, it may take a little bit of time, but you can still get there way before anybody else can to come and try to hunt you. Like, don't play games with me, my friend. We
Don't
know
play
your
games. Don't
secrets.
play games. The
We
minute
know
you
your
roll into a
secrets.
wormhole and I see a saber on the hole on D-scan, I know one thing: I am losing one ship, guaranteed, and it could be the most expensive one.
I hope it's a
probably
dreadnought.
worth several billion.
I really hope it's a dreadnought, Rich, because if
Rich,
you're crabbing in wormholes and you're not using a dreadnought, I don't know what to say.
I started EVE in 2016 in a wormhole group, and I literally experienced everything a wormhole group can do in like 3 months. I joined, we got a work roll, we mined and we ratted, and then we got evicted, all in 3 months.
Before we go away from the ESS bounty thing, can I just say one thing? Like one little point.
What's up?
Go on.
So
We all
the
went silent.
security of the system is a big deal, right? So all the systems that you see that are over 100% are all like 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3 systems. Those systems have no anomalies to rat in. That's why they're high modifier.
Well, sure they do. They have anomalies to rat, and they're just not havens and sanctums
Yeah, they don't
and
have
all
good.
that
Yeah,
shit.
they don't have any good systems, any good anomalies to rat in.
Well, that's your standards, right? That's you having higher
Well, no,
standards than
it's like
you'd really
at
need to have.
120%, at 120%, like a substandard anomaly is about as good as a 60% good anomaly.
but that means
So
you just
people are
need to
saying
raise ADMs.
they're staying in these dead end systems because it's so safe. No, they're staying in the systems because it's safe, and also you make about the same amount of money as you do in the 120% system.
Well, start going to the other systems then.
No, because they're not any better.
He says no. I will not.
You don't
do
get
that,
anything
sir.
out of
Okay,
going to a better
then by all
if
means, suffer.
You know, if
They
you
didn't
write
take
in like
into
a
account the
60%.
security of the system when they made this whole system.
And do keep in mind, if you actually kill the people who try to steal from your ESS, maybe your modifiers would go up for once.
You could, but that's like 3 or 4 times a day, and you could possibly lose 300 mil ship every time. It's a negative.
So basically,
I mean,
like
you see as a negative. I mean, if you go into the
Ratting,
ESS with a
ratting is
negative
about
view,
making
of
ISK.
course,
It's not about losing ISK. When you
right.
lose
If you go into a fight with that
that's
kind of
about
negative
losing
view,
ISK,
of course
you're
you're
okay
gonna die.
with PvP
You know,
losing.
if I lived in nullsec and I ratted like this, I would have a ship on standby and have friends. I don't see it as me going into an
Wormhole
ESS and
guy,
whelping a bunch of money.
maybe you
I see it
shouldn't,
as
like, just
myself
try to talk
going
over
into an
people
ESS
to, like,
and
win your
killing
arguments.
people for what they have brought here and taking their stuff for myself. You know, I don't see it as a 300 million loss. I see it as a 300 million gain if I can kill the person inside. And that's the
Rich
mindset. That's
Richmond
the
has
difference between you and
2300
me.
vision. You heard it here first.
Interesting. Hey, Rich,
Which is
come
very
out,
assertive.
come out and join nullsec and see what you do there.
I was in nullsec.
It's
I was in
actually
nullsec for
really
90
difficult
days.
to defend
Thank you, fine.
ESSs
No.
against
Get
a
out of your
competent
little
group.
wormhole hole.
Against it.
And
Like
come
a
out to
company,
nullsec
yeah.
Okay,
where
then
it's
how the hell
actually
does
dangerous
Fraternity
to
do it?
rat,
Okay,
and
then
then
how
talk.
does Fraternity do it with such great
They
success?
drop supers and titans on
Gotta say,
everything.
You
That's
can't
how
drop
they do
supers
it.
and titans on a fucking ESS. Are
You can on the gate.
The gate.
You
Yeah,
can on
we
the
just
gate.
drop the gate and
It
then
doesn't stop
drop
you from
supers
taking
on
the
you,
gate, though. You can't
and
stop
wait
them
for you
from
to
taking
come
the
out of
gate.
the ESS and just camp the entire system. That's what we
Yeah.
do.
Okay, so then somebody just takes a high sec filament out, like somebody logged off with the ESS buddy, like Jesus Christ. No, Fraternity. I'm not sure what kind of fraternity you're in,
The ESS
Wagon.
isn't the problem.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
what we do.
bounty
What kind of
risk
fraternity
modifier
you're in,
that's the problem.
Rich?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone to these ESSs. I've looted in these ESSs. I've died in the ESSs. I've fought the people in Fraternity that defend these ESSs.
Dude, it's not the ESSs that anyone's complaining about. Those are good. It's good content.
What do you
Depends on
complain
which
about?
FC is doing it.
It's the risk modifier that's the problem.
Then rat in different systems, like
No, that
start
doesn't
killing the
help.
people that steal that come to the ESS because you
I don't
rat
know
so
about
much.
you, but in Horde space, most of the actual bounty modifiers are less than 100%.
Like, go somewhere
don't-
else to rat. Fucking
Less
hell.
than 100%.
We aren't allowed to, actually.
Yeah,
You aren't
That's
allowed
the other
to?
thing. No, we're not.
Yeah, you can only rat in like yourself.
Or
Yeah,
what?
all the
You'll
good
be made a
systems
drop
are
in the
at
bucket by a diplomat?
Less than 100%.
Yes.
I don't know about you. I can't imagine letting somebody else tell me how I can
But you
play
do.
a game that
You
I
do.
pay for.
You
You have
in
to
a
rat in your own
corporation that
self,
has
mate.
standards, and they say you have to do certain things. You already live in the wormhole, and you can't go into your friend's wormhole and crab in there or whatever, right? You have
Yes,
standards you follow. You have.
I tell you
have
what. I tell you what. If I didn't follow the standards, I can either leave or they can kick me. There's nothing
yeah,
stopping
you
me.
get dropped in the bucketed. You can't have anyone tell you what to do in these
do the
games.
same
It's
thing.
completely unfree. It's a dictatorship you're living in, Richmond. You should leave.
Really? Really? Watch me. I can go into my friend's wormhole right now. I can go rat. And what's he going to do? Is he going to go and play to one of the corp directors? They don't give a shit.
Okay. So
Well,
your
anarchy
friend's gonna get dropped in the bucketed.
Right here. Nah, he isn't.
Well, what does it matter if you're stealing his sites? He's just another drop in the bucket. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You can't exactly steal sites and wormholes. Good one.
What do you mean?
What?
Besides, if
Who kissed your ears tonight, Rich? Man, God, man.
No,
Yeah,
I hear all this crap talk. I hear all this talk like, oh, you know,
Prima donna. He's just trying to steal this.
the modifiers. You know, you're complaining about the modifiers are shit. Maybe the modifiers are shit because you excessively rat there. You excessively rat there.
What are we supposed to do? What else makes money in null?
Go literally anywhere
What
else.
do you mean
Kill the people
excessive?
that go into the
call
space that
excessive,
you
bro?
excessively rat in. I mean, if your if your ADMs are down to 50%, I think you need to fuck off to somewhere else to rat.
What do you?
There's
what
not
an
very-
ADM? No, Rich.
Go
Sorry,
look
not
at
your
the
ADMs.
security
Your
systems.
modifiers are
You
50%.
said the
If
wrong
you're 50,
word. Don't focus
How
on
many?
that. Just
How many?
focus
I'm
on
focused
negative
on it.
0.9 or 0.1?
Yeah, I'm telling the
So-
guys in my corp to run missions or go in a wormhole because they're more profitable than ratting at the moment, and you know, cost less skill points in the super. So that's what I'm telling them.
Don't you have
So
a 30
Rich,
billion
That's
ISK
pretty good,
reserve
Master.
ESS in one of your systems, Wagon?
Rich,
Yes.
one thing I want to
Yeah.
ask you though. So you mentioned that like we should just go somewhere else to make money. So what you are actively campaigning for, it would seem, is a removal of people in nullsec space, which you routinely hunt. So are you Olmecaing yourself right now by
That's
wishing that your gameplay style gets obliterated? Or
I
am
mean,
I
CCP has already done that. We
confused?
elected one
that's
CSN
exactly
candidate
the
to
thing.
do.
You get rid of all the plankton, the sharks die.
Well, here's the thing: we've already
That's
done that with the
interesting
whole
as
abyssals.
fucking
I think
analogy.
I think abyssals and the whole instance PvP is an abomination. The fact that you can run abyssals in high sec completely safe,
Rich,
not to
do
mention the
you
bots.
like
I mean, I'm not
So
a,
you don't like
I am really not a
abyssals and
big
you
fan
don't
of.
like ratting in nullsec. What do you like?
I like, I
You
like
like shooting
PvP.
people.
But here's the thing:
Rich,
there are
you
there are
lack
41
fun.
nullsec regions. 41 nullsec regions. You are blue to, I'd say, about
There's
somewhere
the
in the
thing
regions
called a
of.
That has
war.
nothing.
Yes,
Being
there's
blue
a
has nothing
war.
to
Yes,
do with
the
it.
war.
Rich,
The war does do that.
You've constantly mentioned you lack a fundamental understanding of how Eve works. You say
Do I?
just shoot other people, lol. That's not how Eve works. It's never how it works. It's an
Oh, yeah,
ecosystem.
it has worked like that. Just usually the people who are doing the shooting get, I don't know, socially fucking pushed away, and then everyone kind of doesn't like them, and then all of a sudden those people, I don't know, like the Elos of the world,
Let's
right?
take a look. If you're in Horde, you have Veil, you have Caval Expanse, Ethereum Reach, Malpai, but PL will complain. PL and NT will complain. You have Peregrine Force, but Fraternity might complain.
If you're in Horde,
four
no, no, no,
regions,
no, no, no,
5
stop,
regions.
stop now. If you're in Horde, you have Caval Expanse.
TK,
That is it.
You can't.
Everything else that you see is in other allied space, or it is rental regions. We
What happened
cannot
to
go there.
Gemini?
We also have a little bit of Gemini, but Darkseid has it, so we don't really actually control that.
Oh yeah,
they're rent free.
yeah.
Why don't you guys
Darkseid
like,
is will just kill you if you go there. Okay, good
why don't
one.
you go kill Darkseid? There's
Why don't
no
we kill
way-
Darkseid?
We do.
All the
Also,
things
wrong
that's
time
going
zone.
up the last 6 months. A war.
We have this
There's
cool thing
no-
called the
Stop
war.
asking.
They've been
stupid
trying to
questions.
listen. They've been trying to evict Darkseid since I've been evicted from Horde. It's been a while. They don't. It's not a really successful campaign. It's just two really different time zones. And it's a fact of life. They're gonna have to live with it until.
It's
the war's
basically after the war's over, we're gonna go to Gemini, and for about 7 days, kill everything, and then Darkseid's gonna go back to low sec or a wormhole wherever they go,
Maybe we should bring
and they'll
back
do their little
XIX,
guerrilla
'cause
campaign against us
they,
again.
They never have a problem holding down like those 5 regions.
The other funny thing is Darkseid still hasn't actually completely taken control of Gem, and we aren't even actively defending anything.
Well, obviously, it seems they only want a certain percentage of it. But like, Jesus Christ, talk to your diplos. Tell them that you need more space to rat in. Tell them you don't like the AD,
Where?
the modifiers. Like fucking hell. If you're ratting to the point where it's going into like 50%, that's your own fucking damn fault.
Rich,
Mate,
again, what else?
It's reaching
is-
30%. I don't see anyone complaining.
But again, Rich,
Wait, you're ratting
you
at
gotta-
30%? You're accepting
Dude, you
one
should just
third of the
rat
value?
Delve because all the systems are 180%, because that's good.
Yeah, people just leave the system
I'm a
if it
stupid
reaches
wormhole
below a
guy,
certain
and I
point.
don't understand.
Do you think
It's
this
like-
might lead to filling more of those like empty nullsec voids, or
I
do
mean,
you
yeah,
think that this
I
is just
definitely
a
see that.
really horrible mechanic?
I mean,
Because I mean, like that's kind of like the only thing you can do, right? Is break up into a smaller group and go and do that shit. If your group has too many people and they're all ratting, at a certain point, like there are only so many systems in a fucking region, right?
Well, that and everyone's going to mining as well. It's the other big thing.
Yeah.
Who's going to mining?
A lot
Using
of
a
people.
Some of my
rock to
guys.
level.
I've got people. Well, I know people that are doing like 10-man mining fleets, just multi-boxing
I do
10-man
ice
mining
mining.
fleets.
It's pretty good
So,
money, especially with the war.
but yeah, ice is actually pretty good if you can sell it.
And
Well, but the new ice changes make it really hard to mine if it goes to a region where people don't really mine.
It's like the industrials all complaining that PVE was too grindy, and then CCP's like, hold my beer.
And
You guys thought it was bad. Now let's
go look up
CCP
this
is
guy in your.
currently going towards,
Which
hey,
guy?
everybody fly one ship. We don't want you multi-boxing.
I am
anymore
nine
in
guests.
PvE.
Okay, sorry. Jason Bourne, 2 ends. We say Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. The guy who shows up in High Grade Snake Nightmare. It scares people off
That is
ESSs.
an
This guy,
action movie starring superstar
Yeah, I know
Matt
that guy.
Damon.
yeah, he's a
Matt
fucking terrific player.
Damon.
Like
Do you think CCP
that's
wants
the
us to
type of
play
guy
just
that
one account as
you know.
opposed
You
to
think this is the kind of
accounts?
somebody who goes into an ESS. You think this is a guy who docks up, who gets scared. He's like, oh, I don't want to feed 300 mil to defend the ESS. Fuck no.
Because they're doing a lot of anti-multi-boxing type movements.
Fuck no, he
here.
shows up in a high grade stakes nightmare. We took his snake pod, by the way, and he came back in a high grade stakes Hugin. Son of a bitch, scared the life out of me.
What the fuck are you talking about, Rich?
But yeah, no, this is the kind
the
of guy.
holy shit session hob, that guy.
You guys think I've flown with Jason
Bourne?
No,
Jason
Hob.
Bourne. Jason
No,
Hob,
I've
that guy.
I've flown with them. Like these are the guys that you need in your fucking alliance. These are the guys that take advantage of the ESS. These are the guys that don't complain. These are the guys that kill people who enter the ESS.
Yeah, they used to be in frat, but they left because of the war. They don't have any content.
Do you guys remember when we were gonna have the positive vibes and talk about our favorite parts of Eve 2020?
I don't know about you. I don't celebrate Christmas. I've had a wonderful time.
Having Rich Richmond put his foot in his mouth, and then
You mean
someone
like
going,
having all the good streamers leave Eve, and then also
There was
getting
good streamers?
everything that I enjoy in Eve get nerfed? Yeah, that was great.
Which
That's my number one.
Which streamers left Eve? That's really good.
Dalpa.
Who's Dalpa?
Who?
Deopa.
Zarvox.
He's Greek. Zarvox quit because of real life.
I haven't
Chesser
seen
quit
Zarvox
because
in
of
a
real
while.
life.
I haven't seen Chesser
Yeah,
in a
they
long
all
time.
say that.
Yeah, Chesser was
They all say I
pursuing
have
a
to deal with
nursing
other
degree, and
things.
he was
Because
doing
they're
80
Jalen.
hours a week with school. Like, heaven forbid people have a
Okay,
real life.
Rain
Yeah.
doesn't stream anymore.
I literally streamed last week.
You don't do any solo PvP.
Why do I have to do solo PvP? Why can't I stream the
Because that's
content I want? I don't give a fuck what you want
cares
to watch.
about,
I don't give a
like,
fuck what you
all
care
the
about. I
freaking
stream what
fleet
I want to stream. Like, how
So
dare
what-
you
what-
fucking
what-
act so
Future
entitled
Battle
to
is
other
mostly
people's
streamed,
streams?
like-
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you don't
so
like
we-
it, don't watch. It's
Okay.
simple.
So we
Simple.
still have
We're literally
Shell Talk.
we're streaming
No,
right now.
Shell Talk.
Actually,
We still
We are
have,
streaming
3 tiers.
right now, actually.
yeah, like we're doing it live.
We're live on twitch.tv.
doing
We're
it
streaming.
live.
With 67 viewers.
Bjorn doesn't stream
67.
hardly at all anymore.
Lauren still streams. He also moved
About maybe
IRL.
part-time.
Like, it blows my mind that you act entitled to people's time in their streams, and wham, my streamer's not streaming. Boo hoo. Like, who
No,
cares?
I'm just
People have
saying
lives.
the game is obviously not as good as it was a year
Streamers
ago.
don't reflect that at all,
streamers
because
aren't
if you
here
remember back in
anymore.
2012, Eve had 0 streamers except maybe Deopa and maybe Matt Annie. And
Streamers
those
are
are
a
not
s-
normal
are a
streams.
symptom of
That
the,
argument
No,
crack.
they're
of
not.
the problem.
But we
They're a
we
symptom
see
of the
people, like,
disease.
joining,
Eve is
like
dying
Eve.
for 15 years.
Jalen, have you not factored in the other things apart from the fact that the content has changed in Eve? Have you not factored in there's a war going on?
No,
have
I
you not
haven't,
factored
Rich.
in
Why don't you
that
tell me
there's
about
a,
it?
You should
there's a
stream
virus
wormhole
outbreak
content.
going on?
I don't
Have you
actually
not
think we
factored
have
in
that
that
many
it's
wormhole
Christmas
streamers.
time right now?
There's some wormhole streamers.
Oh, there are?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Christmas time streaming. That's what
Winter
it
was
is.
one. There was a lady
They're
from
fucking
Wingspan.
fantastic.
Wingspan
They did a
himself
great
did
job with
YouTube.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wingspan.
sorry.
Yo, I would actually argue though, like I don't know what you guys are trying to say that Eve is dying or something. Like I think Eve is in a better place right now in this moment than it has been in a long time, actually. Like
Oh,
personally.
yeah.
I agree.
Probably a
I
better game, but like
So
better games
I
don't
think
affect
that
like all the
my
sharks.
favorite part of Eve 2020 was probably the the the, the Battle of FWST. Does anybody agree?
Everyone got
No.
Did you guys get twisted?
No, do you like? I had literally my blood was Red Bull during those fights.
Your blood was Red Bull?
I had
Red
to
Bull.
drink like 3 pots of coffee to stay through that fight.
Yeah, same here.
Was it like 6 hours or something?
So yeah,
How long was that fight?
It was something that I lived through,
10.
but it wasn't like something that made me giggle.
Oh, okay. 10 is
Yeah,
10 is
Rich.
pretty good. 10 is a while.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of good elite PvPers in Frat. They left because there was no content, like MCMC, Holy
Yeah.
Shits, Jason Hobb,
Yeah,
the other
'cause you're
guys.
fucking
Wagon, I've got a half mil malediction in their wormhole. I've flown with them. They're friends. Of
Yeah, I
mine.
know. The F1 monkeys.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I do you know Penguin?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
He knows
like
everyone. There's like 200 of them. I could know 200 people too. Like it's not that
There's
hard. Come on.
40. There's less than 50 people in their corp. I'm pretty sure.
I'm talking
Less than
wormholers
50.
who are hardcore wormhole. There's about 200, maybe 400 of you. I mean, I could know all of them too. Come on, let's be honest.
There's 76 of them in their corp. There's 27 active pilots. I mean, there's a difference between knowing them and actually, being friends with them, flying with them, and doing things with them. I mean, anybody could say anything like, what was the old saying? I know the Matani.
Which I'm absolutely stoked.
Who fucking cares who you know? It's
play style and mentality, and who does the exact same thing as you. It's outstanding that you're so diverse and have such nice interests in EVE Online.
Didn't we recently lecture Brave? Give them a full lecture on how to small gang PvP.
I wasn't there for it. I wasn't.
Oh yeah, I know. You guys got. You voluntold to leave Brave.
It was a diplomatic accord left Brave.
Yes, you were voluntold.
And leave the game permanently.
Oh, it was voluntary, but not really. Hence, voluntold.
I'm glad you know the internal politics of Brave and Test, and the reason my corp, which you aren't even the public chat of, left, and you've only spoken to me and Sandron on, and Redline. So I'm glad you're fully aware more than me, who's an FC for Brave and FC for Test.
If you've only played this game for like less than 2 years, how do you make a judgment that it's dying if you haven't played this game for 15 or 16 years?
The game's not dying.
I never said the game's dying. I never said the game's dying.
Not you, other dude. Everything's not about you. Everything's about you, Rich.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were mistaken
I
for
wouldn't
me.
say it's dying. It's in a lull.
I understand. Somebody said it, but well, it's a lull because everyone is on one of two sides.
We are literally involved in the largest war that the game has ever seen. A couple months ago, we broke 2 Guinness World Records. If that's a lull, I don't know what the fuck a not lull looks like, because that seems to me like it's fucking roaring. Are you kidding me?
It blows my mind. When we were in Tenal and we're killing Darkness, right? Like NC Dot and TAS and all and PL, everyone's like, "Oh my god, there's wars, but there's not meaningful wars." It's all rigged and bullshit and blah blah blah. So then you actually engage in a meaningful war, and people are like, "Oh, the game is dying." It's like, holy fuck, you can't win for
losing.
losing.
Like following around Nidespar like all day long and just telling him,
dude, I love following
the way he tells you to. Then it's not in a lull.
I was in Nidespar's corp. I fucking love following Nidis around.
Nidespar's
Nidis
a great
is amazing.
FC. I don't mind him at all. He's my favorite FC pretty much. But I can't do that
He's
all
also
day
like
long.
the funniest person. He's actually like the funniest person in this game if you actually listen to his jokes.
Brisk is right. 2019 was a lull for sure.
Yeah.
Like last year, gross.
Dude,
this year was like a COVID-powered fucking knife to the gut of EVE Online well,
and anyone
the reverse of that.
Who talks about like EVE is gonna die for war? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're gonna maybe lose like 10k active players when the war ends, just because the war is over and everyone's like, okay, well, nothing's really happening anymore, so I'm gonna go do something else.
Like, did you say 2019 was a lull? Because there's a lot of shit that happened in 2019.
Yeah, didn't Tenal happen in 2019?
Oh, okay. I think you're being sarcastic.
Like Tenal branch, all that shit.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
Was super boring.
Dude, we killed didn't we kill like 11 keep stars or something? Wasn't that like an all-time game-breaking record? Yeah,
there was no we didn't kill any keep stars.
And fucking Tenal and branch.
I don't.
Yeah,
maybe we killed like 3 or 4.
Dude, no, we killed like 9 or 11 or something. No, it was a whole bunch.
It was definitely double digit.
It's like a fuckload. Yeah, we killed a
fraternity, but yeah.
I was on every single one but one of those keep star things because I just couldn't anymore.
Really? Yeah.
I don't.
Redline, were you playing? Were you playing in the
Redline?
Yeah, you were. I was on your fleet
last year.
Huh?
Redline, I was in your best fleet ever during 2019, man.
The Battle of WH-TAC JCA?
The one where we were all in Rorquals, and you were FC, and then those guys tried to hot drop us, and we were like, fuck it, we're not leaving, we're going to fight them. That was fucking awesome.
It was a mining fleet?
Yeah, we was a mining fleet, and Redline was in charge. Bob was there also, but he was just, there as an advisory.
I don't.
Jalen, were you in NC Dot? Oh yeah, you were too. Oh yeah, for fuck. Oh my god, I just never heard you on comms before, dude. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I try to stay quiet.
That's hilarious.
When I talk, alliances crumble.
Oh god.
Well, all right.
Look at all the last.
No, I actually have never heard you on comms, dude. I was in NC Dot for like 3.5 fucking years. I never heard your voice once.
So
me and you used to tag team dudes in PH.
Yikes! Yikes! Phrasing. Jesus Christ! Phrasing. Holy fucking crap!
Oh yeah, we tag team. Oh yeah.
Anyways,
Good talk,
so
Tyler.
since we're talking about like ancient history, 2019. Let's wow. Can't Rage was 2018, by the way, because I was still in Goons with that when that happened. Wasn't time is fading. I'm getting old.
Boomer.
What's happened with y'all recently? I got my first carrier. What are some note? Actually, that's a good topic.
I lost my first Dread a month ago.
I'm talking, please. What are some good, notable, and fond memories and achievements y'all have had this year? Start with Wendell.
I lived. Can we throw that one in? Well, how about we all lived so far?
We made it to Delphi.
Yeah.
That's a good
I got a
start.
Wuhan alive.
Good question. I was actually going to ask you what carrier you got, but I will answer your question. I think for me, jumping back into nullsec, both feet in, I've been putzing around for about a year before that in high sec and low sec, just kind of doing stuff. I'm like, I really miss PvP and large gang fights and just the nullsec vibe. I like it, so I got back into that. That's probably been a big change for me, getting back into doing the podcasting and talking about Eve. I've enjoyed that. The FWST fight, that was a lot of fun. It's kind of why I got back in, and all of a sudden, hey, Guinness World Records fight, that was a lot of fun.
That fight where Blazing Bunny said, "Fuck it, let's kill all those Titans." That was freaking awesome. That was the best moment of 2020 for me.
I believe his direct quote was, "I'm gonna kill all these motherfuckers."
Something like that. It was great. Yeah.
At least I got shot by goon titans that time.
Oh, we're getting there, dude. We're getting there. We're getting to that violence. As soon as Seto gets here, we're talking about it.
Was he supposed to? Oh, if you're waiting for Seto, dude, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we'll
the
talk
super
about it whether
carrier
he shows up or
boson
not.
fail. That is what we should call that.
Daddy Seto. Yep, that's correct. Daddy Seto will be here tonight.
Papa Seds.
Again, what are some memories you got?
Me stepping up as a FC, started FC and stuff this year. Still suck, but hey, learning. And
Go ahead. Sorry.
And probably just making a lot more friends in different alliances this year, like talking to a bunch of PL guys and stuff.
Yeah.
And making it out of Wuhan alive. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
No IRL, dude. We don't give a shit about your. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Jesus.
Just kidding.
Jesus, mate.
Jesus, mate.
Yeah, mate. I was in Wuhan like 2 days before they shut down the whole city.
Oh my
and I went to
God.
tourist attractions as well. Imagine me not getting infected.
Dude, you could have been
Oh.
asymptomatic.
No, I didn't even wear a mask. That's the scary part.
You could have been patient 0.
Licking all the doorknobs and shit.
Yeah, but
To be fair, you wear masks in China because
okay, but not doorknobs.
All right, well let's carry on. Dom, how about you? What are some of your memories this year?
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Or do you remember anything? Because you're basically
I kind of remember
high out of your mind all the time.
Come on, it's
Probably right after I hit it too.
you're on a podcast with me. It's like a lifelong friend, isn't it?
I remember everything, dude.
I'll start you off. Podcasting with me, being on a stream with me.
We can come back to you if you want to think about it.
I'm on a fleet too.
It's not like you had
Apologize.
all week to prepare or anything, you know. It is what it is, right?
Like I said, I think Eve's also in a good place. I've had fun all year long. We got our ass kicked over and over and over, and I'm still having a good time. So,
and you're
There's
still
been
getting
some
your ass
pretty good.
kicked.
There's been some pretty good meme videos about the war, right?
Pretty good memes.
Right? No.
The videos. People have been making
Yeah,
some
get
pretty
that
funny
fucking thought,
videos
right?
about the war.
It happened.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff.
The thing about the Jamaican general guy was like, ha ha ha, you haven't even gotten this. It was so funny.
Oh yes, fake Delve and fake Quirius.
Dude, apparently there's a thing on Steam where it's called Face Rig, where you can literally turn yourself into a furry.
I've got it.
It's called VTube, yes.
If
And
I go into
there
my
are,
already a furry.
closet, if I go into
I'm
my
pretty,
closet, yeah, I could just like turn myself into a furry right now. It's easy.
I'm pretty sure there are EVE
Oh,
Online.
Sophie. Yeah.
Jesus.
Gonna go into the closet, turn yourself into a furry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Closet
I
turns
want pictures.
around.
You have to have
Then we're-
pictures.
Hey, can we
Do
do
people
this?
ever go into the closet? I thought they just came out of the closet.
Do you think it would work with our Eve avatars? Because that would be fucking amazing.
People are trying it. I know one guy was
Yeah,
trying
you have to have your camera on, right?
Next week on Trash Talk Tuesday, everyone's a furry.
Next week on Trash Talk
No.
Tuesday, Rich Richmond becomes a VTuber.
We all
Okay.
get face rigs to get your profile on so you can see the reactions live.
Oh my god,
2000,
that would be amazing.
2000 bits, and we
I
all
wanna
get
be,
a cuddle party.
I wanna be this wolf guy.
No, you have to be
Oh,
your
no.
EVE Online avatar.
We should do
2021,
some
my goal,
VR chat.
my goal is to
Import
become
our
an
Eve models
avatar.
into VR chat.
Yo, that would be sick if you could have your EVE Online avatar animate with your face, like combine the two. You said somebody's trying to do that?
Yeah,
I
so,
just like my
some
EVE
streamers
Online
are trying to
avatar
do
to
that,
be
yes.
on New Eden
Yo,
Post.
CCP, please.
Up to the other 8 guys.
That'll be my personal
think-
project for programming next year.
Don't worry about fixing the economy. We need to turn ourselves into furries.
I'm pretty sure
Yes.
EVE with the Japanese localization also has some like streamers who are also VTubers as well, so you can find them sometimes. I think. I might be wrong, but I remember hearing about that.
Wait, so this is an actual thing where like people will stream as a character?
Yes, it's called VTube. You can look it up on YouTube or on Twitch. V, like the letter V, tube, T-U-B-E.
My God, you boomer! This is $1 million industry, and you've completely glossed over it. You completely ignored it.
Zoomers unite. Furries are the way of the future.
Stop calling
Yes.
me a boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm a millennial.
You're acting like a boomer. It's not an age range. It's a mentality.
How many
I'm acting
Zoomers
like
are
a
here?
boomer because I don't understand something I've never experienced before.
Dude, I'm a Zoomer at heart.
Mind blowing. Boom.
So here's the thing. Here's the boomer versus millennial / Zoomer mentality, right?
we have
Is
this
that
conversation
when
every
you
week,
shut the
Breadline.
fuck up, Jeremy? You're gonna yell at people for interrupting you. I will murder your face in game.
Wow.
Just like I murdered
Verbal.
Loki's alliance last week. Anyways,
Well, we're gonna talk about that in a bit.
we'll get there. We'll get there. The thing about the mentality is that a boomer will look at something that they don't understand and hate it, and they will go against it any way they can, whereas I am experiencing something I don't understand, and I'm trying to learn more about it.
It's
so
a way
that I
of
can
people
understand it.
latching onto something new and saying they're better than someone who hasn't latched onto it yet, and saying, "Look, I'm better than you. I'm higher in the social ranking than you are because I know about this new thing and you don't."
That's a Zoomer.
It's true.
It's bullshit.
There is a real boomer in chat, though. Just
You mean like
You mean like he was
I thought Big Bill
born
was a
in
boomer.
1945
he's
to
not here.
1950?
Brisk Rubel.
It's
well,
not
Chris
about your
isn't a
literal
boomer.
real life age.
You'd
It's
have to
about
be
a
70
mentality.
years old to be a boomer.
No, it's
Literally
like it's
70
60.
years
you
old.
don't.
You can be 60 if you're born before 1964. Not old enough.
64.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
64 is
it's
the
That was
cutoff.
like
so much.
20 years after the war ended.
The war is
Well-
traditionalist. If you were alive during the war, that's the silent generation or the traditional generation.
Which
It's where
one,
they
Korea?
prioritize hierarchy, where they survived the Great Depression, survived the Great Wars.
Well, speaking of wars, we did have a Christmas truce, and back in my day, I used to celebrate Christmas, but I don't anymore. How was
We didn't
everybody's
have
Christmas?
a fucking Christmas
No,
truce.
listen. The
didn't-
Christmas truth didn't last until the vigil mass for Christmas.
You'd have to be 56.
Well, you certainly didn't ref a bunch of shit over Christmas while everybody's
If
with
you're
their
younger than
families.
56, you were not
I
a
don't know
boomer.
about you, but I played Griffin Ball.
Yeah. There was a bunch of stuff for F, man. I posted the other day. It was like
Baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. First Google result. Find me something different. Thanks.
No, you're right. You're right. So 56. You'd have to be 56 years old to be a boomer.
Oh, I think that's right. Yeah. So it's
Something
not
like
like
that, yeah.
60 or 70 plus. I can look up traditionalist age too.
Yeah, I was thinking about people that were born like right after the war.
Yeah. So traditionalists are the
Those
silent
ones
generation
that
because
really-
the children of the air that were expected to be seen and not heard between 1927 and 1946. So that's right
The
around.
boom was about people that came back from World War II and
They're-
wanted to have babies.
Yeah.
They're
So,
kids.
Yeah.
I would think around 10 years after the war, but
Baby
I guess they've like
boomer.
expanded that for whatever reason.
I'm sorry, were we gonna go back to talking about Eve stuff? Or did
Well, I wanted to, you know.
Did
I would rather
don't
talk
want-
about
Me
generations
and
than I would
Rich,
about
you play a
furries.
different
so.
game than me. You play like.
I don't want
Eve
to tell Rain what to
Worm
do.
Line.
God forbid we step in on that one. So you keep talking about whatever you want to talk about on this stream.
Can we have like 2 different conversations at once?
You know what, Jeremy? You are right. I probably do
actually
play a different game to
educational,
you.
and people actually learn something that might be important someday.
My EVE Online gameplay consists of double clicking and yelling at other people.
I shouldn't even acknowledge you, Rich.
I'm guessing your gameplay consists of listening to broadcasts and pressing F1 on what is
no, I'm
targeted.
actually what's called an FC, and I, am responsible for people's stuff, and I did stuff.
Speaking of FCs,
an
Billy.
interceptor out
Hi,
into a
Billy.
system, and you like find somebody, and then all you engage him, and then like your 50 guys that are sitting on the other side of the wormhole jump in and get on the 1v1 fight, and you're like, oh, we killed you. We're 50 guys, and you're just one. Ha ha ha. We're good.
I challenge you. I challenge you to find one kill mail. I challenge you to find one kill mail that has 50 people on it.
You're meerkat.
Of my corp that isn't something that we bat phone someone on.
Drop name of corp, please.
Okay, so hold on. Hold on. Which conversation are we having right now?
Those Riggets guys.
Are we
I'm
going
sorry.
back to bashing on Rich for being a dirty wormholer?
Rich
or
is,
are we talking about
It's not a dirty wormhole. I like.
What are you talking about? I like wormholers.
And how they should shut up in comms.
Okay, so are we talking about that, or are we talking about the Year and Eve stuff? I'm
talking about the Year and Eve stuff.
The Year and Eve is me and we come on every week, and then everyone yells at Rich when we all go
Redline,
home.
what do you want to talk about? Because I think it's going to be half of one and half the other. So what do you want to talk about?
Come on now.
Yeah,
You know better
no.
than to ask me that question.
Actually, I don't. I have no idea what you want to talk about.
Well, you should know that in my never-ending quest to be relevant, I only wish to talk about myself. That's why I try to remain quiet.
Yeah.
Redline, when's the next time we do a fun fleet? You're going to send out a fun fleet.
I don't
Somewhere
know, dude.
besides Delve, because Delve isn't fun.
Why is Delve not fun?
When the war is over?
Because it's all a bunch of gate camps and guys that dock up.
Well,
not quite.
So we shifted a little bit. We'll get back to our Year and Eve and how much fun we had, because we did shift kind of to some war talk. So what's the latest in the war?
One keep star left, two keep star
Billy, you're up.
Three keep star left.
Billy, wake up! It's your turn.
Billy, what's the progress of the war? Are we going to see the war wind down by Valentine's Day?
So phase 4 began today. We reinforced 3 keep stars, 7 Sotios, I think 7 Fortizars, including a couple factions. And then tonight we focused on just saving timers that had been made during Goon's big planned and Tosis push that happened the other night. We saved timers in Catch, Aquarius, Impasse, Delve, and Esoteria. I don't think we lost a single one. We smashed a Goon
That's
server
not true.
in GE. We okay, maybe there's some random timer, but no timer I'm actually tracking that was important we lost. Sorry, you're right. We probably lost a timer or two. Like there's all kinds of random timers we lose all over the place, but none of the ones that we cared about. And we Impasse, Catch, Delve, Aquarius, and Esoteria. We've saved all the major timers we aim to save. So, and at the same time we won a large fight in GE. Siku bombed like 70 Serbs in V3, and then we kicked the shit out of Elo's Munins in Delph. Meantime, we also killed a shit ton of like random Mentosa stuff, Jax, etc. And I like obliterated V in fucking interceptors earlier. It's been a pretty fucking big day, let's say.
What is up with the deployment into Impasse and Curse and Catch anyway?
If you're talking about initiative, they're mostly just doing their thing out of Curse, trying to reinforce random structures and solve, etc.
Is this actually strategic? Are they actually going to put?
Yeah, they try to time it well. Like, they're playing it well. They reinforced the oh shit keep star while we were doing the other keep stars.
But was that keep star ever actually at threat?
At threat in what way?
Could, theoretically speaking, that did that keep star have a realistic chance of going down, or was it just purely content and?
Well, it's a shield reinforced, so the chances of it going down are determined on the armor timer and the structure timer. Does it have a chance of going down? Not a zero chance. If we get busy with other stuff, it's possible they could reinforce it again or something. I don't know. But it's I think the third or fourth time they've reinforced it now, so it's not like it's something we're not used to.
Can you imagine if they actually reinforce the armor timer on it? How much we would never hear the end of it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if it doesn't go to if it doesn't get killed in structure, it doesn't really matter, does it?
I think is the most.
That's a relatively new keepstar, right? So
Ocean's been there for like a year and a half, I think.
Year and a half ago.
Everything in that area, like 8QT, I think is all that's pretty old. I'm pretty sure.
8QT is a Delve Invasion keepstar.
Not 8QT. Can't remember the one in Catch. The one system that has a.
Cat?
No, not
that Catch.
It's in Catch, like 3 jumps from GE. It has like a keepstar.
UQ.
UQ. Yeah, UTAC Q.
UQ keepstar is Test's second keepstar that we ever put up. So.
Where's the first one?
DP.
Oh.
It's actually, funny enough, it's one of 2 operation level Dragon Ops Test has ever done.
Hey, Billy, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
I was noticing today when I was watching Ron stream how all the Mimitar and Caldari supers and titans are all of a similar type of artistic stream where they all have lateral ridges on them, and when you warp them in a fleet they all kind of like mesh together because they have this lateral ridges that all kind of like go together. Did that have anything to do with you going to a shield doctrine?
No.
That's unset.
What a question.
That's the one thing. That's the one reason why I would go towards the shield doctrine.
That was
because
your,
of those lateral
that was your
ridges
big
all
question
match.
for Villy.
I was almost wondering.
It is, yeah.
Was your decision to go to a shield fleet impacted by the
I'm
shield
an
hardeners
artiste.
activating? Jesus,
I'm an artiste at heart. So
Who
like the
made you?
Caldari and the Mimitar, they all go together because of the lateral ridges.
Stop it. Stop it.
And here we
Stop
have our
it.
interior
He's
design
fucking with
student
He's fucking with
talking
everybody.
about the design of carriers in Capital.
Have you ever seen Amar and Galente trying to warp together? It looks like pigs fucking in mud. They
I would
don't go
like to see
together at
that.
all.
That's quite the change of pace from the first image I had in my head of what
Question:
you do.
Have
I
you
don't know
seen
if
pigs
have you
fucking in
seen a
mud?
pig before? I don't think it looks like a carrier. I don't think those two things, like you don't usually associate. Oh, I'm gonna bubble one now.
Okay, I'm done.
Off. If you're in a real fleet and you're you're going to have all that shit turned off anyways. You're not going to be watching the nice, pretty warp view because you're
Well,
going to.
as an F1 monkey, that's all I can do. Pretty much is watch Twitch. For entertainment.
Turning all that graphic shit off anyways. You won't see nothing.
I can watch pigs fucking in the mud. I can guarantee that shit's gonna be on high res.
That's on the second
Hey,
monitor.
I
mean,
was raised on a farm. Pigs fucking in the mud.
That's
Yeah, how do you know it looks like
entertainment.
that? Have you seen
do you
it
think
or?
we could not? You think we could
I
not
think
talk
this is
about
family friendly.
that? Anyways, so that's kind of the war. How do you get your sub back?
The war thing. Pigs fucking in the mud.
Jesus Christ. War pigs. Perfect. War pigs. So
War bonds?
no.
Can we talk about that?
No, we
I'd like to
can't.
know about that.
We can't. They're definitely not doing war bonds ever. Never ever. It's never a thing that's gonna happen. It's way it's last resort. It's last resort. It's the last thing that could possibly happen.
It's already happened.
Well, we're next to lasting the the 1DQ keep stars, so.
I'm not. No, we're not doing it. We're not talking about the war bonds.
I was just in 1DQ. And I gotta say that it was a shitty place.
Oh,
1DQ is a sweet place.
I'm being threatened. Like,
Love
guys,
threatened.
I'm being threatened.
Why?
Well, oh my
Is
god.
it-
Soon. Say.
On a regular basis, I'm guessing, or
Oh, for Screwball?
No, I'm being threatened. So I guess we will talk about how they said they weren't gonna do them, and now they're doing them.
Did you know that your war
Brisk
bonds are
coming?
going to pay for Mittens' fish tank?
What?
I don't.
What?
Did y'all not watch the Fireside? He talked for like 20 minutes about his like fish tank.
What
Gonna buy some like
Oh,
super
hey, Brisk.
exotic
Well,
fish
I
or
have
what?
a really nice
Yeah,
Look,
he was talking about
first
how he
off,
owns like 5 fish tanks.
First off, don't accuse a man of RMT unless you have a perfectly good reason to expect that they are participating in RMT. Okay.
You want me to talk about my
Second
8
off,
years of conclusive
there
evidence about people RMTing or what?
there are no fish tanks in EVE Online, even though you could argue that the entire game
Is a giant
actually
fish
has
tank.
fish tank.
But you
CCP
and
just
Death,
comes and like taps on the
you and
glass.
Death got a private jet, out of
Wait a
running XIX.
wait a
my
second.
God.
Is EVE a fish tank?
It's a sandbox. I don't
It
know
was
if a
supposed to
sandbox
be a
is the same as a
submarine
metal
game.
fish.
Do you guys remember that Tucker? It was supposed to be like a submarine game. So, like in theory, in space you don't have up, down, or whatever, but in water you do. So it's supposed to be a submarine game. So that's the
Well, you
closest
have
you
up
get
and
to a
down
fish
in
tank.
space. It's just relative to like whatever plane you're basing it off of.
But there
Yeah.
are
So
no
in Eve,
planes in space.
but in Eve, right? Like in Eve, it all acts relatively the same. Like you can't just like 360 your camera forever.
Yeah.
So it's more of like
Yeah,
being
Eve
in
is a
water than it
submarine.
is being in
It's
space.
a submarine simulator.
All right. So here's my question. I saw Brisk in the chat, and I have to ask Brisk, how do you feel that everything that you told us a few weeks ago about war bonds was bullshit?
Ooh, I have a question.
Nothing I said about war bonds 2 or 3 weeks ago is bullshit. It was all true.
What do you mean?
In your head.
How is it all true?
It was all true. What did I say?
I don't remember.
Exactly.
But
You
you
don't
said
remember.
it would
What
never
I said
happen.
was, I never said it would never happen. I said it was
Okay.
not happening now.
Oh,
I said that they were not doing it now, that this was something that was being floated. It was everybody was going to know about it ahead of time, and that it would be something that would be done if it was necessary, but it wasn't happening then. That's what I was saying. It wasn't happening
As a
then.
pure
That's
like
it.
And what is happening now?
plebeian line member, that's all you would know, right, Brisk?
Well, see, the reason why I came on the show to tell everybody was because I actually listened to the Fireside, and they said multiple times, we're not doing this now, but this is available to us if we want to do it in the future. So I was the record. And if they do it now, fine. So what? Who cares?
For the record, my argument was not
I'm in the
that
same spot.
they were doing it now or not doing it then. It was the announcement came at a time where Brave was like almost declaring bankruptcy and everyone was down. I would have just said what I said was you guys should have waited for that. That's what I said. So
War bonds aren't a bad thing, though. United States did war bonds in World War II, and we were definitely winning.
Wait, how is Brave almost bankrupt?
Yeah, they just cored all their structures and everything. Just spent a lot of money. They're not bankrupt. They're just spending their money.
yeah, it was a hyperbole, but people asking for money, things like this.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So asking for money means that you're bankrupt?
Nah, I mean it doesn't mean that you're bankrupt,
Kigali
but it
paying that you
might.
need more money in an alliance dedicated to like supporting new bros and giving them ships for free and everything like that might
Right,
need a little bit of money because a large financial impact is happening.
You might need a
Makes
little more
sense.
money because you're behind on your private jet payments.
So anyway, here's why the war bonds thing was important and something that everybody like rallied on was because it was a big conversation that we had. I don't think it's that important right now because we knew back then that it was a plan that was eventually going to happen and now it's happening. So the only takeaway that I would say that is really anything that you want to look at is that obviously there's something going on that requires that to be a thing that happens, and it's not outlandish because those guys have a lot of structures. And it's not crazy to think that maybe they don't have all of the liquid ISK to put cores in everything, and it's not a bad thing. It's an insane change that I don't think anybody expected. So like, no hate here.
Really true,
I think there's
right?
a
Like
lot of
the component.
organizations that are thinking about scaling down the number of structures they have because of the cores.
It's important to understand that's not really true, right? Like where they're like, oh, it's all just going to be for Keepstar cores. It's like you don't like. They only have like 44 Keepstars at the moment. They're going to have 34 in a week or two. Like most of the Keepstars behind Helm's Deep probably don't need cores. Like we're talking like maybe 10 Keepstars cores at most that they'll need. Like to me, that's like 300 bill, and maybe what 10 Sodio cores and maybe 24 Dizor cores. Like maybe 500 bill we're talking about. Like they're obviously raising money for things that are not the fucking Keepstar cores.
So Villy, what do you think their end game is? Are they trying to just hold out long enough to move all their shit out, or are they trying to hold out long
They're
enough
fighting
for
for
us to
1DQ and
give up?
E3O.
So, have you ever seen the movie Tropic Thunder with world famous actor Robert Downey Jr. and not
Robert
Matt
Downey
Damon?
Jr.,
Tom
I love
Cruise,
that guy.
Jack Black.
Tom Cruise, Jack Black. So, do you
It's
remember
amazing.
when the character that Robert Downey Jr. plays says "survive"? Survive.
Survive!
I think that's the goal for
What do you mean,
Goons
you
right
people?
now.
So
Yeah, remember that?
do you think they're trying to hold out long enough for us to give up?
Do you remember that movie when they talked about flaming dragons?
No.
So I thought that was an amazing
So
reference that
there's two.
Rich Richards group made.
There's two
Yeah,
things that
and
they could
Tropic
be
Thunder.
doing.
Yeah, that's my alliance name.
I
They
know,
could be
I know.
trying
It's
to
amazing.
like move out, or they could be trying to hold out. So I'm thinking like it's kind of a little bit both right now, but I think they're going to eventually go to like the move out.
well, they've kind of played their cards to make a last stand, right? So they're going to hold out in 1DQ. They're going to try and hold us off as long as they can from getting E3O 1DQ. Eventually, we'll have that throwdown, that showdown kind of thing. And I think they're acting as if they can't lose, because if they admit they can, it'll start breaking morale a little bit, and that will create the conditions to lose, right? So they're setting up a we can't lose, because if we lose, there is no other plan kind of situation. So, which is not a terrible strategy, to be honest. Like, it's just going to be that much rougher if things go bad. But like, even once we take 1DQ iHub, if we do, it's still a non-zero battle, right? We still got to push them into the region bit by bit by bit. Obviously, if we do take E3 and 1DQ, to me, that's definitely going to be a bit of a morale hit, because they put so much pressure and focus on holding those things. But
do you think they're in
they're. Go ahead,
do you
sir.
think they're in the like a fatalist mentality right now, where they know they're going to lose and they're just trying to reduce their losses?
No, they're playing to win. They're playing a good game, right?
Billy, I have to say, I appreciate that you brought your A game on the spin tonight. The only thing you miss is you didn't talk about the Doom Clock.
I can talk about
But
the
you're
Doom
doing a good
Clock if you
job.
want, but what
You're doing a
did
good
I
job.
say there that was spin?
Is the Doom Clock broken?
Listen, the whole idea that we have never said there's a zero chance that we're going to lose. We're going to lose.
No, it's not. I didn't say that.
Beginning.
I didn't say there's zero chance. I said you're not creating like a two-step strategy here. You're creating we are going to hold an E3 and 1DQ, and you're playing for that. You've absolutely admitted you can lose, and will, in my opinion, will. But like,
All right, I want to make sure that I was clear about that, because I think everybody has been fair, and Mittens and everyone else has said flat out there is a non-zero chance that we lose, and if that happens, okay. We don't think we can lose, because we're still going by the war scenario of if we still exist at the end of the war, we win. I know you guys disagree with that, but that's the thing. So
existing at the end of the war is winning for you?
Wow, everybody just talked all
How about getting kicked out of Delve is losing?
Not for us. We don't care.
What about changing your SRP to be almost non-existent? Are you broke yet?
Because we
What
can't.
are you talking about?
We can't.
As far as I'm
destroy
tracking,
Imperium
Goons basically have full
but
SRP
we can
still.
kick you out of Delve.
if you guys kick us out of Delve, it's fine. I mean, nobody's complaining about that. We viewed this from the beginning based on the comments and the statements that were made. This was a war of annihilation. If we're not annihilated, then we didn't lose. And if we lose Delve, great. We'll go find other space that's better.
Well,
And
I'll
given
tell
the
you
fact
what, if
that
you guys
CCP has changed all the way that space works and how Saab is, and there's almost no upside to having Saab anymore.
I like you.
I
You guys
don't-
dialed back
What's
your
the trouble?
terms for victory here. It went from like they're never going to defeat us.
We've never dialed it back. I've said from the at least I haven't.
Fountain will not fall.
No,
I've nobody ever said Fountain wasn't going to fall. And the bottom
that
line,
one was Fortress Fountain.
there was
But-
one line in a Fireside that Mitten said Fortress Fountain. No one, at least I'll tell you, in it never said it was Fortress Fountain. We knew full well we were going to get our asses beat. There's no way when you. There is no way.
Like, I'll give you full credit though, Brisk.
Has
like,
anybody held
you're right,
Fountain
like,
ever? No.
If you wanna like, if you're leading, you have to lead under the assumption you're going to win. If you lead under the assumption you're going to lose, you're wasting everyone's time, right? And people will pick up on that, right? So you have to be confident. If you're not confident, you're just gonna, people pick up on that instantly, right? So
They do. They also pick up when you're confident and there's no reason to be, and it looks just like spin. And I think both sides, you guys are in a very good position, and you can say we're winning, we're doing this, we're taking these structures, we're killing this, we're going to kill these keep stars, we're going to do this type of stuff, and you can say that, and it's plausible, so your guys believe it. And Mittens can go out there and say we are fighting every day, we're winning fights, we are creating timers, we're stopping them from doing stuff. They haven't been able to get into 1DQ, they haven't been able to get into E3OI. We're going to fight here, etc., etc. And that's reasonable and true, and people see it, so they believe it. So there you go. Both sides are still in good positions, at least when it comes to getting their folks motivated and everything. But at the end of the day, this is 6 months on, and the war's been dragging, and people are getting bored with it.
What do you mean the
war's
been
we
dragging?
go by the run,
The war's been dragging.
Like
it's not been dragging. We're at your
definition of
front
victory
door.
as
You've been at our
knocking
front door for
Imperium
how long
down
now?
to the
Like a
level of
month or two,
the
maybe?
other
we moved
sides?
into T5ZI 40 days ago.
Do you
There you
think
go.
we've won or lost?
We just killed the first keep star in Delp, and you yourself said that you would be getting worried many trash talk Tuesdays ago when we were initially attacking Quirius. You'd only be worried about this war when we killed and when we attacked keep stars in Delp. It's happening now, right? There are 60 keep stars in Delve or whatever, 60 timers in Delve. You're never gonna ref them all. That was always the narrative, and it's proving false now. It was obviously false when you said it. The spin has always been that you're never going to evict us from Delve.
The spin has always been that if you bring enough numbers, you can evict anybody from anywhere. Nobody has ever argued with that. And you guys continue to bring more numbers, and that's legit. That's a completely reasonable and rational strategy. And we're going to fight you as best we can. We're going to take the fights that we can take. That has been Asher and Mitten's strategy from the very beginning. Has been fight where we can, and don't put ourselves in a position where we have to take bad fights. We take bad fights all the time. I mean, well, not even that. No, we take bad fights all the time. We'll take fights where we're not. We did it today. Jumping into the guys up in UTEC-U in a Munin fight, and it was pretty fun. But we do that all the time, and if we didn't, we'd never get any content at all because you guys bring more numbers every time. So that's the bottom line. But hey, keep coming. It's fine. Keep coming. You keep killing structures. Keep doing what you're doing. The content is nice.
Destroying the Imperium is the goal.
Commitment.
I think that knocking the Imperium down to the point where they can no longer just smash anyone they want to just at the whim, that would be the goal. To make you more competitive to the rest of the
You guys have killed trillions of ISK worth of stuff, and we are not as big and not as bad and not as mean as we were before the war started. So, op success if that's what you want.
Yeah, so evicting from Delve would be the end point, I would think.
We've been evicted from Delve before. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Love does not matter.
You're going to be around, and we want you to be around. We want an adversary. It's just we don't want an adversary that can just stomp any one of us anytime they feel like it.
Well, that's because your allies are going to be able to do that when the war's over. So get ready.
Yeah, right. You're absolutely right. When Imperium is no longer the number one target, then it'll be more of a who knows who your target is, who knows who's going to be attacking you next, and that's what we want.
We know.
That's what we want.
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows what's going to happen. It's not like some big
test. Is it
fraternity is next? I hope
Who
so.
knows?
God willing,
No, it's not
fraternity is
fraternity.
next.
It's not fraternity.
It's not
I
going to be
fucking,
fraternity.
I fucking love frat, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they pay for their bot. They pay for their protection with their botting empire.
Sir, you.
Oh, dude, you're starting to sound like Rich. You're starting to sound like Rich.
Would you say that no one wants to be fraternity's enemy?
Somebody's got a problem with
The
jealousy.
number one region in EVE for ratting is Owasso with 10% of all the bounties generated.
Okay.
Jeremy.
By a region that fraternity also occupies at 5% of all the bounties in the entire
Jeremy,
region.
you know that
Owasso is
you know
the
that I
number
love.
one region for mining in nullsec. Number
Okay.
one.
You know.
So let me ask you
know
this,
that.
Jeremy, real quick
So once
question,
this
Jeremy.
war is over, we have the state.
So real quick question, Jeremy. I just want to
Thank
ask you because I need to know. Before fraternity was top dog, the goons were top dog, right?
So Jeremy Richmond,
Were
is
were
it
they
gonna
all
be...
were they all bots too?
No, because Goonswarm had the numbers to make that believable that they were mining stuff. They had the history, they had the wealth,
Or protection,
they had
100% bot.
all of that, the protection. They had everything in place to make that. And I'm not saying that Goonswarm didn't have bots. Like, I think they had.
Sure, of course.
Brisk, you might know
But
this.
you're
Like
also
10%?
not saying that they. So there's 15,000 people just in fraternity. Did you know that?
Yes, and there were over 30,000 people in Delve and Goonswarm to make the largest alliance possible.
There's actually more people than that in Frat if you count all the other
That's
rental corps and
just
stuff.
fraternity, though. That doesn't include any of their rental alliances or anything like that. It's just that alliance.
So Jeremy Richmond, instead of Goons now, it's going to be
I'm changing his name.
Bots.
I'm changing his name to Jeremy Richmond.
him up.
We need to do that, yeah. Jeremy, you know that I love unsubstantiated botting claims more than anybody because I've been doing this show for a long time, and Rich has also been doing this show for a really long time. But I don't know, man. Like next time, bring some fucking facts. Bring some facts, some hardcore fucking I want to see schematics.
Find
I'd like to see a diagram of some kind, and then maybe we can get to a place where we can actually be like, oh, well, this is what's really going on. Yeah, but you can't be like Owasso has a bunch of money, like a bunch of ISK generated, and thus they must be botting, right? Like obviously, like there's the reality of the situation. If you like to present the reality of the situation, that's a whole other thing, right? But you can't just be like, oh, they bought, blah blah blah. It's like there's botting going on in like every fucking nullsec plans.
Can I ask you guys a question? Whose responsibility is to deal with bots in EVE?
Not mine.
I know. It's CCP's responsibility.
Right. So why the fuck are we talking about it?
It's a great question.
Because it's a way to rally the troops behind
because
the cause.
Jeremy is being ridiculous.
Jeremy has seen what has worked for Rich, and then is now repeating it to cast himself into the starlight. I think is
Everyone hates
what's going
bots.
on here.
So saying that the enemy has bots is a good way to rally your troops against the enemy.
I think, frankly, if botting is a legitimate problem, and I think it is, then it's not something we should be injecting into politics to fuck around with. Let's not do it.
Well, Brisk, I would like to celebrate something, and that is they released the statistics, and I checked my statistics with my emails.
You are worth 5% of all the bots in the game.
I'm aware, yes. Had 4% of all player-reported bots banned. 4%, one man, right here.
Did you just slap your chest?
He did.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of muscle.
Wormhole botting. No one's really talking about wormhole botting. There's probably a ton of wormhole botting, right?
I have something for you, Rich.
Not really.
Here you go. This is for Rich. Everybody on the stream. Actually, that's a song. There's a song called "Round of Applause." How the? What the? I need this. There we go. This is for Rich. Rich, tell us about your how many bots did you report?
I checked my emails, and I looked through all of my emails. I searched it up. I checked it for this year alone. Just this year, I eliminated it everywhere else, just on Richmond alone. 298 Banned.
There's 32,000 players in the game.
Out of all of the player-reported bots that were banned, I account for 4%, actually 4.12, but 4%. Just
Ian,
one man.
Where did you report your bots? Where did you report your bots?
Everywhere and anywhere. I have been through all 41 regions. I've been
my
to
God.
Fraternity. I've been to Test. I've been to Horde. I've been to Goons. I've been to Initiative. I've been everywhere. There is no single one region
Hold up,
that has
Rich.
bots.
You have to show us the activity log showing that you've actually hit all null regions, because I know CCP tracks that and you get achievements for it. Otherwise, I don't believe it for 1 second.
That's quite the statement.
Activity logs. Very well.
Also, can I actually just ask this though? Like, how many bots do you think you reported in total? Like, how many suspicious activity things do you think you reported to get 219? Like, do you think it was like 40,000, or do you think it was less than 40,000?
7,200, if I saw correctly in the screenshot.
7,200 total players were responsible for. I have gotten 298 emails this year alone. Based on how many bots I actually report, I'd probably say I have around, say, 30 to 40% accuracy ratio. I believe CCP reports. CCP got about 100,000 something reports, and their accuracy by the report standard is about 25% average. But that was on the July
You made a comment
release.
earlier that's just generally a few people were like, "Yeah, I don't play Eve the same way you do." I'm paraphrasing, and man, you just nailed it. You play a completely different game if you're spending that much time reporting bots. Wow, dude.
But
Seriously, wow.
guys, 40%, really? Can you imagine if Rich was a prosecutor?
Nope.
And 60% of the people he accused were
Well,
innocent?
yeah, but he's not in a position of power though, right? He's more like the civilian who's calling the criminal hotline kind of thing.
That's a bad analogy in the real world, though.
It's
Still,
like witch hunting. That's basically what it is.
He's like, I want to see
Actually,
your
that's
manager.
exactly what they tell us in Horde. For
Witch
if you
hunting.
find botters, don't witch hunt. Tell a director.
Rich would be the paranoid dude in a shack someplace who's looking out his window saying they're everywhere. But
There you go.
but to
Richard's
be fair,
burned 10 people at the stake. 4 were correct.
No, but it's not him. He reports suspicious activity. He does what he's supposed to do, and then CCP actually investigates. Right? He's not banning.
Let's just say
job I don't want to have.
we hope they investigate. We know their track record on investigations is not always that great.
Oh yeah, true. Sorry about that, Brisk. Rough topic.
Well, Billy, Brisk, can you talk about?
I forgot about that. The sizzle. It hurts.
Can you
The
please?
statement of witch hunt makes so much more sense now.
No. Listen, I didn't get any innocence banned. These are all legitimate bans. Thank you.
not that you know of.
All bans are legitimate bans.
What was that? 2018, 2019? Nobody fucking knows anymore. It's all up in the air.
So, Brisk, Billy, what can you tell about the CCP's plans on combating this RMT and bot problems, or you're not at liberty to say?
I don't
Honestly, know. They don't talk to us about that stuff very often. We will tell them that it's an issue, but Team Security and those guys, they do their thing, and they tend to be very secretive about it, and that's fair because they don't want anybody to know exactly what tools they're using. I appreciate that.
Is it that bad for the game? Like, if we're being honest, is it
absolutely
horrible for the game?
I was reading. There's a big.
Why is it bad for the game?
It's a big YouTube video. I watched it. It was very well researched and documented video. A
Can you
normal
link it in
economy
Cesspool?
sees about 2% inflation a year. Because of botting, Eve has a inflation of about 12% per year in terms of how much ISK, and it reduces
where are you getting that number from?
That seems like
seems really high.
He's making them up.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that's
69% a year.
I mean, looking at the
the
CPI and stuff on the MER, you would. Yeah, I don't see numbers to justify.
All right, well maybe I'm just
look,
wrong.
Look, here's the deal. Botting is bad. Botting is bad for a lot of reasons. The most obvious reason is it's taking money out of the hands of the company. There are legal ways to get to sell ISK in this game, and the money should be going to CCP if they're going to do that. If you're RMTing, you're taking that money away from the company, and that's bad. We don't want them taking away revenue from the company because that means the game is not able to sustain itself as well.
Do all botters RMT though? Like.
I would go with the reason of it being most problematic is that it creates a situation where players' in-game activity is devalued by the activity of other, bots, basically.
I think botting is a symptom of PvE being not interesting or too.
No, it really isn't.
No, I think that you're always gonna have botters in games. Like that's
Like it doesn't
Well,
matter
and
how exciting the fucking activity is. If people can bot it, they will.
It's and that's the thing. It's if there's demand for if there's demand and somebody is willing to pay money to somebody else for something, then that will happen. And invariably in games, there's always going to be somebody that wants a shortcut.
It's too much trouble and too much grindy and too much non-fun content to get. They're willing to pay money for it instead.
Correct.
So I'll be honest with you.
But it's important to understand that some of that grind is built into the game. Some of that grind is actually, as crazy as it sounds, some of that grind is the fun in Eve. I know most people won't believe it, but I remember belt ratting in my Raven in Stain in 2007, and those are some of the best times I had in Eve. And I know that the 15 mil an hour I used to make back then to me was a lot of money, and it's just conceptually wrong to think that just because something is boring and not super exciting to do doesn't mean it's not a valid activity. And what you enjoy is not the same as what everybody else enjoys. There's people that play their entire existence in high sec doing level 4 missions and they love the game.
Yep.
Right? Like you have to think outside of the parameters of what both propaganda and like Eve Reddit tells you. Like because that's just not correct at all. Like there's people in this game that will never shoot another ship. They will sit in Jita and they will station trade. And that's what they love to do. They will not ever engage with a ship in EVE Online. They will just station trade. Because
And that is
that's what they
perfectly
enjoy.
acceptable as a gameplay style.
I love ratting, and I would do it all the time. And I would never bot ratting because I like to rat. But when they freaking nerf ratting to get rid of botters, then it makes it to where I don't want to rat anymore and I don't want to play the game.
You're not understanding.
But that's the point.
This is kind of one of those fun lessons my father actually taught me many years ago. He said if you give people the opportunity, they'll steal from you at every opportunity. And it's much the same. If people can bot, they will bot. And it's as simple as that, right? Like if you allow people to engage in botting activity, botters will come and bot. Because if you can get something for nothing, or you can get some form of payday for free activity, effectively, people will come and do it.
Well, has botting been
Chinese
always been a
server is a good
problem
testament to
in
that.
Eve, or is just a recent
It's inevitable and it's always a problem. And frankly, I think it was a much bigger problem 2 years ago when the amount of income you could generate with bots was much, much higher because of supers and everything else. But let me be clear. They're not nerfing all of the income and wealth generation in the game because of bots. That's just a happy side effect that it has an impact on them. And some of the changes that they've made specifically to certain things has been
a problem 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Botting has been a problem
since the first day of the game. There's
I don't know. Realistically,
were up in the first year.
Realistically, I remember back in like 2000. Actually, you know what? I remember the drone regions or wherever else used to be a bot. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's been botting since day one. Like, it's just been different types of bots.
I mean, look, if you right click, there's still a thing that says report ISK spammer in local. I mean, that's because that's how they used to do it. They used to advertise at fucking local to sell the stuff.
So botting isn't a new thing. It hasn't gotten any worse since 10 years ago. So
I can tell you, like 2 to 3 years ago, it was really bad.
It got worse when income generation in the game was off the charts, because those guys, not only were they doing all the stuff that people were not botting, the regular people were doing with multiple Rourke walls and super carriers and all that other kind of stuff. They were generating that much income, but they were doing it safely and with bots that were hard to catch.
And at a scale that was just like
exactly.
In order
the scale was
to
off the
see
chart.
like how bad botting is, you'd have to look at how bad botting has affected the income of CCP, because that's really the only scale, right?
Oh, we don't have
Up
those
and down
numbers.
over the years. I remember like 2008, 2009 was
That's
another.
why they fight it. I mean, at the end of the day, it takes money out of the hands of the company, and that's not good.
I need to make a point though, because I completely agree with Jaliant here, where if the method of income generation was more engaging, there would be less bots. And the reason that I agree with him on that isn't because I think people would be more likely.
Could you give us an example?
So, like for instance, on if you're looking at, like, you've got incursions, right? I'm sure people bought incursions.
There's incursion bots.
I'm sure there is, but I bet there's less incursion bots than there are Anon bots. I mean, as far
Do you
as
know
I'm
why?
aware, the bots are just, they're like point and click on the screen, not memory injected or anything like that. But no, I don't know why. Tell me why.
Because it's a limited resource.
So it's
It's a highly
limited, right? It's limited, but it also
Right.
typically requires more than one person, which means it requires
Bots don't care
more
about your scale.
investment. But it requires more investment from a people base. But what you could also look to do is make it more engaging, to make it so that if a bot has to perform the task, they have to perform multiple different tasks, and no Anom is the same. Because, like, you go do a Blood Raid or Haven, it's the same no matter what Haven you do. If it's a Rock Haven, it's the same. You know how many waves there are, you can
Red line,
plan for
red
it and
line.
everything.
I've
What?
played a lot of
If
MMOs, and
if a
the last
player
one I
can do
played a lot.
something, then a bot can do it.
The
It just
last
takes
one
a
I played
matter
a
of
lot
time.
of time was EverQuest. EverQuest didn't have a bot problem until they added this grind part of the game called alternate advancement points, where it took a long time in order to get ahead of everyone, and everyone wanted to get ahead.
Can we? I want to stay on this. I want to stay on this point for right now, because what I'm saying is that you have a different set of like things that'll happen, and you randomize it in an anomaly, whether it's gates, whether it's different kind of rats that
Like
scram and
abyssals?
web, like abyssals. But instead of it being abyssals, it's anomalies.
There are abyssal bots.
Of course there are, but are they more popular than a regular Ishtar bot circling a haven?
Actually, they're like one of the most
Yes.
popular type of bots right now.
Well,
So
god
That
damn it,
and
just
the
throw the
second
whole fucking
declaration.
thing in the
Okay,
trash then.
so
I'm
it's
out of
like-
solutions.
No,
Red
I mean
Light, you are
that's
correct.
red line. That's the
You are
thing. I mean,
but
no matter what, if there is a way to generate income from it,
I've got
there's
an
a way to
epiphany.
bot it.
I'm going to bring up
So
EverQuest
If
as
I
well.
can just say something.
I was going to bring up EverQuest as well. The exact same thing. That game, that's a long time ago, 2000, right? I think, and maybe even before that.
99, yep.
In 99, 2000. I mean, botters were horrible there. WoW, World of Warcraft botters. I mean, anytime there's an opportunity where someone can get ahead, literally by, like Billy said, by doing almost nothing, they're going to find a way.
It's all about what you reward people for and what their goals are. So if their goal right now is to have like 10 characters, you have a super character, you have a titan character, you have all these characters that you need in order to compete at the end game. And the only way to get those characters is to quickly skill them up, which means you need skill injectors, which means you need a lot of ISK, which means you need to do something to get
You
ISK.
can't break it
That's
for
not the
everyone else,
only
right?
way.
War on the botters can't kill the game for everyone else. And here's what'll be happening
It's
inside.
about motivations.
I mean, you could throw up an SP farm a couple years ago and do fucking well. So I don't know, dude.
So
Need to
they're
minimize
doing
their
some
goal.
things right now to get rid of multi-boxing, so that you can no longer do many characters. That's
So
what
the
their whole goal
goal
is right now, is
is
to cut down.
I don't think that's the
the
goal
goal is to
because
minimize it.
that doesn't help them.
You can't eliminate it. Of course, they would love to eliminate it, but they can't eliminate it because the punishment to the regular player would be too extreme. It's a fine balance. And so it's fine that balance. When there's a big uptick in botting, they do something about it. And then they go back, and it's just something they live with. Like all of us live with it. And
I mean, look, there is a absolute 100% foolproof way of ending all botting in EVE, and that's turn the
Shut
servers
down the
off.
game.
You know,
There you go.
So at the end of the day,
Make
Rundle's exactly right. There has to be a balance. You have to make it so that it's hard to do, and then they give people the tools so they can call people out and catch them when they're doing it, and let CCP work their process. But you can't design the entire game around not having botters engage in the content because they're always going to find a way.
If they would make Plex non-tradable, you would get rid of 90% of the botting.
Why would
You'd
you
also
buy?
get
Why would
rid of
anyone buy
90% of the income for CCP
Why?
as well.
What are you even talking about? Like,
What are you
botters don't
talking
care
about,
about
Jellian?
But it
Plex.
would definitely end
Jellian,
botting, though, right?
No,
No.
Jellian.
It would increase RMT.
Plex is the number one weapon against RMT, and RMT is one of the biggest reasons people bought.
That is the main reason why people bought. Look, the benefit to Plex is that it's the company engaging in this, and they get a cut of it, and they make money off of it.
I would think a lot of
So-
botters are people that have bots as alternate characters to just pay for their accounts.
No, it's
Pay for
almost
Flex.
it's almost entirely RMT related. That's the whole point.
You think so?
Absolutely. There's
Do
no
you
other
have any-
reason.
Do you have any studies to like say that that is true?
I mean,
I
I can
have
tell you,
CCP telling you that.
not
I mean,
not
they've
in
said it
EVE
over and
Online.
over again.
It's
In
all
World
about
of Warcraft?
what you would say that it was the skill injectors that causes it.
In World of Warcraft,
think so.
I was a botter in World of Warcraft. Scorn me now, but the only reason that I did it was for money to sell gold. Like that is what it is. It wasn't because I needed anything in game. It was an easy way to make money.
But he totally doesn't do that now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you can't
No.
fly Merman down for shit.
If you ask Rich, though, it's like once a botter, always a botter, dude. I don't know. It's a
Wasn't
slippery
Rich and
slope.
modern in RMT and RuneScape?
Yeah. I botted RMT and RuneScape. Are you kidding? Of course I did.
Holy shit, Rich!
Yes.
Oh god, they're saying
my
bot
God.
line now. So anyways,
let's get it off of botting. How about RMT? Is RMT mainly to pay for subscriptions or
No.
to pay for advancing in the game?
It's to pay their mortgages, dude. They're doing it to make money.
There's two sides. Do you mean buyer
it's
or
a
the
lot
seller?
of people
There's
that
two
are.
sides.
I mean, the amount of money you can sell ISK for is a lot of
talking
money
about
in certain
buyers.
parts of the country.
People that buy RMT, what are they going
They
for?
just
Are they
want-
going
they
to
just-
advance in the game quickly, or are they
They
going
just want
to
cheap. They just want cheap ISK. Yes, absolutely.
Because
But
you
you
can
can, like,
buy
pay for your
RMT
account.
ISK usually about half the rate you can buy it at Plex ISK, right? So,
Right,
you know,
so
if
you
I've got $100 and I want some fucking ISK, then I'm gonna go. Well, I can do it legal way or I can do it the RMT way.
Don't
And if
worry,
you
I
think
got
you're gonna
you covered. I got you
yeah,
covered, Billy.
and if you think you're gonna, get caught, then you generally go the Plex way and do it through CCP.
I
And
would-
if
I
you
would
don't,
say it
then
goes
you go
to
the
that-
RMT way. And
Allow me
goes
to
to that
illustrate this
driving
with the
need
story,
to-
Jail.
That
Let me
driving
tell you about the
need
Great
to
Venezuelan
be-
War of RuneScape.
Hold on a second, just a second, bro. So it goes to that driving need for people to be at the top of the game. They want to advance their character,
There is no top of the game with Eve, though.
but people think there are. When they first start the game, that's exactly what they think.
But it's
They
not
think-
about like top of the game. It's like I want to get the next skill. I want to be able to fight Titan. I want to be able to, buy this blueprint. I
Right.
want to.
I
be
don't
able
want
to
to have
do
to
this
wait
thing.
another month to
Titan.
get
I want to get
something.
into that Nyx.
It's all time. It's all a question of time.
When I-
It's all
yeah.
a question of jumping the line, and that's you also have to say that's maybe motivation for some people, but the motivations are all varied, and it depends on individual. I mean, there's some folks I guarantee
would
you
say
bought
that-
RMTS because they thought that's the only way they could get it. They didn't
So
know
the
about
RM
Plex.
The
It
RMT
happens.
basically is fueled by the same thing that fuels people to want to play the game.
There is a tendency in online gaming that there are people who have money and want to spend it, and they think that they can jump the line and not have to do all the drudgery that everybody else does to get to a position where or to be able to do the things that they want to do. So they're willing to spend money on it.
That's
might
literally
not
why.
have
That's
or might
literally
not
why I
wanna
buy it
pay
and sell Plex.
Me
People
too.
that don't have the time or maybe not want to spend the time to do the thing, to do everything that everyone else has.
Well, let me put it like this:
Then they
if
don't
you
get
can
the
make $50 an hour, or you can spend your time grinding ISK at at $1 an hour kind of value, then for some people there's significant advantage to just taking their real world money and doing it that way if they're willing to do that. For a
That's
lot of
exactly
us,
right.
For me personally,
that equation doesn't work, right? But it's not. It's every person's decision based on their financial status, who they are, what they like. The thing to remember here, though, is like we're not talking about that equation because that equation is present in every video game, in every game that allows you to buy anything between microtransactions, you name it. The issue is between RMT purchasing ISK and Plex purchasing ISK, and the RMT side, which is the underworld of EVE, I guess you could call it, or whatever you want to say, which tries to sell you that ISK cheaper so that people can pay their mortgages or their whatever in parts of the world where the $15 you pay for Plex means a lot to them, right? Like that could be a day or two salary, right? So because EVE is a global game, you're always going to have that dynamic, and it's something that CPCP is going to be fighting against until the game shuts down.
So in order to defeat a wave or a thing that's happening like systemically, where like any one little mechanic you make doesn't change the thing. You can't defeat it by mechanics. You got to defeat it by motivations.
No
you got to take away
defeating
the
it.
motivation.
You have to move off that topic.
We basically just said
There's
that you can't really go that
minimizing
way.
it, not defeating it. This is a not
Right, minimize it.
That's
Never
you
gonna
have,
beat
to,
it.
you have to start from that.
You
Otherwise,
know what?
get the equation wrong every time.
I'd like to conclude the topic and move on to something else, but no, this is not
Please.
something you. This is not something you deal with by in-game rules. It doesn't matter how many accounts you ban of the botters; they will always make another one. It's a Hydra with two. With that, every head you cut off, two will spawn. You do not deal with botting an RMT with in-game measures. You have to deal with it with to make it. Well, you have
You
to
got to deal
take
with
it
it
out
with
of game.
motivations.
No,
It's
you
what I'm
don't.
trying to get. It's the whole argument that I've been.
You're
making.
never going to catch it from that end. You're never
There's a
going to
whole,
catch it.
You're never gonna
there's a
catch it
whole
with
subset of
motivations.
people that will just keep fucking doing it. Like they're not in it for the game. They're just
Yeah,
in it
there will always be
the
botting.
money, right?
Let's just
Right.
minimize it by motivations, by making the game more interesting to play, so you can actually advance in the game the right way.
Well, I'll tell you this right now.
People will
They could
always
make
pay money to cheat the system if they can.
exactly. They could make the most
People that have money,
interesting
yeah.
PVE on the face of the earth.
Not even
And
people who
I
have
don't
money, dude.
care how interesting it is. I'm gonna buy Plex to get around it because I'd rather go kill Villy than shoot at a rock that some computer generated. That's not why I play the game, and that's
Sorry
a
for
waste of
killing
my
you
time.
first earlier, Brisk.
That's fine. It happens.
If I can,
It happens to me all the time.
Can I talk about this for like two seconds, quick? Like, so I'm one of those people who thought like my time was more valuable, just credit carding at buying Plex, than going out and getting the tunes, do all the indie shit and grind and all this shit. Because I was working like 16 hours a day, dude. Like I was working a fuckload, and I wasn't making that much money. I was a cook, right? I eventually became a chef, but like I was a cook. And like at a certain point, it's like, do I want to play the game to just grind like a little bit after work and get nowhere, or do I want to PvP? And do I want to do FC shit? And do I want to actually have fun in the game? And like that's that's the route that I took. So I've been buying Plex since like 2013, like
Me too.
legit. Like
Look,
legit.
I could be, instead of being on the show entertaining you guys, or instead of doing the meta show, or instead of being on the CSM, I could be, running level 4 missions in high sec to make this so I can PvP the way I want to. But I don't. I just buy the Plex, and that gives me the chance to do all this other stuff that's fun.
Exactly.
There you go.
You're a smart guy. I bet you could have a botting empire if you really wanted to.
I'm not that smart. I'm not a computer genius.
My point there,
You're a
though.
smart guy, whether it comes to like social interaction or pure genius or whatever. You're a smart guy.
My point there, though, was
He's
that
not that
buying
smart.
buying
I
Plex
appreciate
from
that.
CCP, buying Plex from CCP was like the best way for me to spend my money, like my time, right? Like that's really like if I was going to work, have my own IRL money, and then go into the game and grind, like it was in no way efficient. The most efficient way to gain ISK was literally just to buy it from CCP, and like that's literally what I
It was
did.
the
I'm
most
not gonna lie.
efficient
I spent
method of time.
$2,000 when I first joined Eve buying Plex from CCP in order to get to a point where I could enjoy the game.
Yeah,
$2,000.
the thing was though, right? Well, the thing is too, like, is that if I'm gonna spend this amount of time doing something, right, like playing a game, like in Eve, yes, you're paying a subscription, so there's that. But like, I kind of don't mind putting money into the game that I enjoy so much. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't actually bother me so much. Like I don't see it as like a loss of income. I see it as like
the point is
I'm
just
I'm
playing the game.
gaining.
Just playing the game and paying your subscription and playing the game normal, you can't really do anything. It takes you years.
I mean,
to
sure
get
you
to the point where
can.
you want to
It's
be.
gonna take.
You got to pay money to get to the point where you enjoy the game. So
Right.
No,
most
that's not
people
true
are
at
going
all.
to spend less money than more money. So
Well,
for
look, I
most
let
started.
people,
me be
it's a
clear
way to
here.
spend less
Playing
money
Eve
than
and
doing
enjoy.
it successfully.
No. Let me stop you there, man. Stop. Please stop. Like what you're saying is that the only way to win in Eve is to have a ton of SP and do stuff like crazy, like at the top end.
No, just to do anything. To PvP,
If you play this game for 2
certain amount
months,
of SP
you
to
can fly an
PvP.
interceptor, you can fly an interdictor, and you can make the most massive of differences in every situation.
Or you can get into a Merlin and go into faction warfare and
You
have
could be
a
the son of
blast
a
doing
bitch
that, right?
that catches me on a
Okay,
gate because I'm
when
not
I
paying
first
attention and I
started
get
the
killed.
game,
There we
I
go.
was watching Zarvox and I was watching Chesser and I was watching all these other streamers about 3 years ago, And I was like, hey, I want to do that. In order to do that, you needed so many SP. You needed to know how to play the game, but you also needed the SP.
Okay, well, stop though. That's like
Darbox
comparing
did
yourself
indie
to
shit.
the top fucking raiders in like
No.
like major MMO,
Darbox is
and then being
not
like, I
top
want to
at
be that
all.
top
He's
raider, and then
mediocre.
okay, but nonetheless, he is not, right? And it's important to understand that, like, what you're saying is, like, I want to be the top raider in this game, and
No. You just
then
wanna
you
be
want to
able to
skip the
compete.
level 1 to 80 grind and all the grind to get the gear and do all those cool things, right? Like,
You take a new guy that wants to solo PvP and put him out in low sec and see how many kills he gets.
Well, okay, hang on.
For the first
So,
year,
can
or
I just
2
answer this?
years,
I'll
or
answer
3
this for you.
years.
I am that guy. So what I literally did was I went from. I mean, I only heard about this game through a sous chef that I was working for in a kitchen. Right, he was some big CEO guy in some Pravi thing back in the day. So he got me into Pravi. So that's where I started the game. I started the game in Pravi, day one, Pravi. I was doing the fucking belt ratting shit for a little bit, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I figured out that if I spent a little money on my credit card, I could get ahead. There was no skill bullshit back then, so I pretty much had to wait. And I spent like a year and a half in an interceptor, right? Like, so I was in fleets with my alliance. I was in Severance at the time, but I was in an interceptor. Everyone else was in a zealot. Everyone else was having a lot of fun. But what I learned was, holy fuck, like there's a lot to actually like tackling and shit. Like if I'm the scout, I actually have to know what the FC needs me to find out. And what ended up happening from that was I gained a tremendous amount of benefit, both from a manual piloting kind of standpoint, and also from figuring out what the FC needed me to know, that I was able to kind of just transition to FCing almost naturally once my SP caught up with my overall experience. So
and it's important to understand as well here, like, if people don't have that foundational knowledge, that's how you get those fucking Titan pilots who don't know how to press their own fucking buttons.
Exactly.
And that's what I was about to say.
Exactly.
One of the other thing, I mean, this is a common issue with Eve, is you see the advertisements that they do of the game, and you see people reading the articles about the big fights and the Fury and FWST and the Bloodbath, the BTEC-R and the videos, and this is Eve and that type of shit. And that gets people excited. They're like, I want to do that. And then they get in the game and they realize in order to do that, they got to play for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then they want a shortcut. And then that's fair. But I mean, look, it's the same thing. If you're a 10-year-old kid and you're watching the guys playing baseball, you're like, I want to do that. You have to realize that, yeah, you could try, but it's going to take like 8 years of doing nothing but playing this fucking game to even get a chance to be at that level.
Yeah, but if you're in a Titan, like if you're in a Titan, right, in the middle of a fucking like X47 or whatever BTEC-R kind of scenario, like I hope the fuck that you've invested the amount of time in the game that is necessary so that you know what the fuck it is that you're supposed to be doing.
I'm telling you this.
Well,
right
then
now.
you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Absolutely
I
correct.
know.
Billy knows this. I know this because I've been in a bunch of Titan brawls in my time. There, right now, in this war, there are hundreds of Titan pilots that have never been in a big fleet fight before, and they have no idea what they're going to have to do.
There are hundreds of Titan pilots that have never even fired
shot
Doomsday.
a Doomsday. I didn't even one. And that's when the big fight happens, if it ever actually happens, it's going to be a clusterfuck on both sides because there are going to be tons of people that don't have any idea. I mean, there are guys with Titans that have 0 kill marks on them, because they've never dropped them an anchor on anybody.
I feel like
it's just the nature of the beast.
You could emphasize maybe that, like, for if you're a CEO of a corporation in one of these large groups, you might want to maybe get them onto CC and maybe want to get them firing some.
You can tell them that, but then they actually have to do it.
No. But what I would do is I would literally get on CC with my guys and be like, "Look, you're fucking doing this. Let's go." And like, we're going to do this with my corp too.
We used to make,
go over fighter mechanics.
In order to get it in the Titan channels for Init, you have to be able to lance a moving target in a test. We physically give everybody driver's licenses where they have to go on CC. We do testing to make sure guys know basic stuff like how does my lance work before they're even allowed to join the channel that can get in the that's just how it is. So you can do that, but there are plenty of people that don't care or that don't have it, and when you need numbers and it's a big fight, you're still going to take those people, and they're not going to know what to do.
Like, as Bruce said, you need the numbers as well, but like none of that actually it's impossible to simulate what it's like in a large super cap fight in
Exactly.
10% tie-dye with like
without having it.
with everything mattering. And like that is the thing that CC can never like. You know, people talk about the shakes, like, you know, it's I mean a long time since I've had the shakes, but like I hear people talking about it all the time, right? Like it's like holy fuck, oh holy shit, really? Like you know, they're so like, because there's real risk there. There's real like danger, and that's what really energizes the what Eve is. Like if you played and you know it didn't matter if your Titan died, then Eve wouldn't be Eve. Like the fact that if your Titan dies, your Titan fucking dies. Like if you fuck up, you're dead, right? Like
I was showing my wife ships last night, and I showed her my Ragnarok, and she's like, "How much does one of these cost?" I said, "Like 70, 80 billion." It's how much is that in real money? I'm like, like $1,000. And she's like, "And you lost one of these?" Yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean,
that's Eve.
Isn't it closer to like $2,000 now?
Like what this whole
probably more.
Like
Yeah, they're probably
this
more
whole
like 2 now.
conversation, right? So what this whole conversation was about was whether SP, your skill points, allowed you to get into the game or not. And I would say that without
It did,
SP,
though.
you can never get into the game.
That's not true, but I just told you a story where a young Luki
I started
Jokic
like 3
came
years
to
ago.
Nullsec. I spent a
Within
year.
1 year, I killed
Loki, no one
Zervox
cares,
within 1 year because I skill injected.
Let me tell you this: all time, yeah. I've never. I mean, I skill injected later, but I mean, like, in 2013 there was no skill injection. But like my all time, if you look at Loki Chokoc's fucking kill board, all time, the Ares is still my top ship. Okay, because I flew like hundreds of fucking or thousands of fleets with an Ares, and I was the scout, I was the tackle guy. That's what I did. Right, and
I mean,
that led
best year
me
in Eve-
into being able to do a whole bunch of other shit because I was kind of pushed into that role because I did not have the SP. So
Listen,
like
That is
you can
great.
bitch.
That's
You can.
great argument for why they should take out skill injectors.
No, that's not.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
So let me be clear about this.
So without
there is
skill,
an argument that can be
points,
made.
you were able to do something.
So let me be clear. There's an argument that can be made that, you know, below like 10, 15 million SP, you're going to struggle to do some things. But as soon as you hit 10, 15 million SP with one frigate 5 and like, you know, 100, you know, 500,000 extra XP in whatever you want, you're basically off to the fucking races. Like you can do real meaningful things. You won't get to advance up to the tree and fly a fucking Marauder on day 2. But like you shouldn't be flying a Marauder at that point anyways.
I would say that
Jail.
I've only been playing for 3 years, right?
And Jail, to
Within
that
1 year,
point, you've been playing for 3 years
hold on a second.
without skill injectors.
Let me finish
Without
my
skill
sentence.
injectors,
Okay,
you would
I'll
not
let
be
you
an
talk.
NC dot.
I'll let you talk. Let me talk. Okay.
You're starting to give me that
So
courtesy. I don't know why.
within 1 year, I skill injected up to 100 million SP, right? So within 1 year, I was already doing things that were important, that were fun, that were doing things. I was killing, you know, people that shouldn't have been killed.
So here's the
like
point,
how
Julian.
The other people that didn't do that, those guys that didn't skill injected like I did, have quit the game and don't play.
That's their own fault. That's not the fault of skill
No.
injectors.
I
It's not
paid
your fault.
$2,000. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's the only
They-
people
Look,
that were
here's
in
the
the
could have
thing.
done
game
that
right
too,
now.
if they
That's the
wanted
problem
to.
with CCP. That's the problem with EVE Online is you have to pay $2,000 to get
No,
into
you
the game.
No, you don't.
You
I've
don't.
never skill
You have to
injected, and
pay
I can do
$2,000
tons of
to
shit.
play the way that you
or you
wanted
have
to
to
play.
bot.
You had to pay
That's the problem.
$2,000 to play the
We're
way
talking
you
about botting.
wanted to
Can
play.
I say something?
That's it.
I
Yes,
started this
Senator.
game like I don't know 5 years ago now. The first year I paid for my subscription. After that, I haven't paid for any real life money in this game at all. Everything has been through in-game
one of the
money.
best things about it. And this was
I
one of the
have
first games where you could do that.
I have 2 Titans
Playing
now.
since
Almost got my third.
2006, and I have paid for every account, sometimes upwards of 5 and 6, and I've never ever bought a single 30-day certificate.
Yeah, exactly.
I have played
buy
this
all my
game for
plexing
2.5
in, and I
years,
have 22 accounts.
and I have subscribed every month for each one, except for one time someone gave me a year of game time, and I've bought a shit ton of skill injectors, and I didn't need to do that to play the game the way that I play the game, because my favorite ship in my Your Year in Eve this year is a fucking malediction. All right? So, Jalen,
and you also spent more time in stations than you did in space, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I didn't post that, did I? I didn't post that one.
I thought you posted that.
I think I did post that one.
You did.
You're probably right. Anyways,
but back to talk to. Can I point out something to Jail real quick?
Not yet.
Is there anyone here that has played less than 3 years that wants to talk to me?
Yes.
Because you guys who spent
yes, Jalen.
15 years
I would love to talk to you if you would shut up and let me.
Let us talk to you, Jalen. Let us
I have
talk
played
to you.
this game
You
since
won't let me finish the
2018.
sentence. How can I talk to you if you won't let me finish the
I have
sentence?
played this game since 2018, which is less than 3
that's
years.
a long time.
And it's less than 3 years, which is your qualifier for being able to talk to you, Supreme Leader Jalian. And I never felt the need. I never felt the need that I had to skill inject because I knew
So you've
from the
never skill
get-go.
injected.
That's not what I said. I said I've never felt the need that I have to inject skills. Now,
have
did
you
I?
skill injected? No,
boy,
no, no,
I
no.
swear
Let's
to
get back to the
fuck.
facts. Have you
I
skill
swear
injected?
to fuck. If you're gonna sit here and say over and over again, I let you speak, you let me speak, you better shut the fuck up when I'm talking. Thank you. So, I have skill injected because I wanted to, but I never felt the need to, right? I never felt the need to, and no new player should have to feel the need to skill inject because it's not that real. There's always something that you can do. It's just a matter of finding it. If you go and you look at the top streamers and you say, I want to be those guys, then fuck, go be those guys. But you got to realize that those people have put years of their lives into training those skills, into becoming good at Eve, and that's why they're doing it.
And the other point that I was trying to make before is
there's a lot of streamers who like get away with like beating people in 1v1s because they have higher SP.
And
or
because they know how to
they're
play the
simply
game.
better.
But here's the thing.
Maybe they just
Or
play
they're
lucky.
Without
It's
skill,
literally anything.
when the game did not have skill injectors, and for those of us who have played longer than 3 years, we remember that time. And there was a lot of bad shit that happened in that time because veteran players that had 2003, 2004, 2005 accounts, were always going to be better than somebody that started playing in 2012. So the only way that you got an account that had extra skill points on it was you had to buy that character from somebody else. If you wanted to start your own, exactly, that was a big thing. If you wanted to have your own name and your own character and build it up yourself, you had no way of catching up. And all of the elite groups, whether the PLs of the world, the NC Dots, the rest of these, they all had skill point requirements. You can't join our group if you don't have 40 million skill points or you don't have 50 million skill points. We won't even look at your application. Yep. There would be no way for someone that started this game 3 years ago to get into any of the big nullsec groups other than like Brave or Karma Fleet or something or Pandemic Horde because
that's how Dreadit used to recruit, right?
Exactly. I mean, that was the thing. If you wanted to join one of the big groups, you had to join one of the feeders and prove that you knew what you were doing. And maybe we'll let you in later.
Is that a bad thing, though? Actually, like I grew up in the era where I had to work my fucking ass off, know what the fuck I'm doing, get a good kill board just for having a shot at being in the alliance that I wanted to get into. And
well,
I thought that was
hate to break
actually
it to
kind
you,
of cool.
but alliances can still do that. They just
they don't anymore.
Well, no, some of those alliances still do. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but
it's very difficult to quantify. Like what are you going to quantify?
Them.
Like as
name
SP
them.
Or...
Name us.
No, but what are your requirements going to be? Like, there are some alliances, for example, like the one that I'm a part of, where if you want to fly with us, it's going to be a little expensive. So
it's been a good discussion, and I think we've gotten to the point where Rain has just said it, right? So the only way to defeat this would be to get rid of the RMT sites where people are able to
That's
buy.
not what I said. I said people will always buy, and I didn't say that. That was discussed like an hour ago.
They go after them all the time.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't know why you're still about botting.
The
When we're
idea
talking
is
about
that
SP.
people want to do things, and they're going to do
really
them.
talking about like like about alliances having standards.
I think this guy is just stuck. He's stuck on either
okay,
botting or
Jadian.
he's fucking his SP and his head is not right. So it's.
I mean, he also
like,
told me
he's
that I
gonna
need
be
to
a
stream
shit
solo
pilot.
PvP or some dumb shit earlier too. So.
Jillian, I am 16 months in Eve, so I'll take the honor for the newest player here.
Aw, damn it. How are you gonna beat me
Why
like
can't
that,
be
dude?
so
That's
young?
so
You guys
lame.
Rich is nothing but a bot that
16
sits
months,
behind a
really?
computer.
It sounds
How
funny,
have you
but
been on this
I actually
show
want to
for
hear
16
what Rich has
months?
to say. I actually want to hear what Rich has to say on this
Because
one.
I'm
Go
that good.
You're that good.
Is this Jillian's
The-
show?
While I never needed to inject, there was a strong urge to, because I wanted to catch up and I wanted to wear the big boy pants and do the big boy things like everybody else did. I could have chosen a different path, but I felt the urge to inject at opportunities where I could, and where I had the opportunity to get a load of SP either free or reduced price, I did so. I am glad that injectors do exist now to allow newer players to catch up. My only concern is their ability to allow mass accounts to be created to fly ships that weren't meant to be, trained in mass, such as I don't like the idea of injecting into, say, a Rorqual or a Carrier or a Super Carrier or a Titan, but I do like the idea of allowing people to use SP to catch up on, things that everybody should be able to do. Everybody should be able to fly cruisers, destroyers, hell, even battleships. These things people should be able to inject into, and I think SP being able to inject into this is good, because it not only gives CCP the opportunity to sell the SP, but it also takes something out of these RMTers' hands. It takes away their ability to sell accounts for real-world money. And the same goes for Plex being for ISK. And the more we can do this, the more we are able to give, CCP is able to more benefit rather than RMTers and botters, and which is
While people think
a really
that I've
toxic influence on the
I've
game.
been being toxic and everything, I'm
Nobody
actually
thinks
trying to
toxic.
like prolong push the discussion forward to being like there is something in Eve that's worth people doing RMT. There's something that worth being like ratting for like 10 years or whatever. There's something worth doing that everyone wants to do, and it means it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, like, if I can just talk a little bit, there, like, in the last couple of weeks, there's been a really weird spout of this injectable SP stuff going around and how it's bad for the game or it might not be good for the game and blah 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 blah. I actually think it's a good idea for younger players to be able to catch up to a certain degree, and I think that those restrictions are kind of in place with the way that it degrades as your SP goes up. So I actually have absolutely no fucking problem with buyable and injectable SP. I did kind of have a problem back when the Rorqual was like a fucking ISK printer, and you had that. That was bad. Now that that's kind of been to some extent negated, I don't really see a big deal with that. If you're going to be the guy who's either able to credit card his way into the ships he wants to get into, or actually grind it through industrial means in the game, I don't see a big problem with that. If you're the guy who's going to recruit that guy, obviously, as a corporation, you're going to need to go into some extensive fucking measures to train those people. Personally, I think that, like, I've always thought since I started this game that the training's up to the fucking corporations to do. The corporation wants to be a good corporation in an alliance. They need to train their people to do the things that they need to do in the situation they need to do them. Is that a perfect system? No, but it's nice though. It's nice to have that as like if you're going to be an alliance leader or something like that, it's nice to have a buffer where like all of your corporations are like training their people to actually like effectively do things in the game versus, oh, here's a Titan, let's go ham and beat in a BTAC-R scenario where you have no fucking idea what to do, right? So I mean, I've never had a big problem with the injectable SP, and honestly, the dudes who want to get into the super early, I've killed a bunch of those too. I've killed a bunch of dudes who are in like 1 week old characters, and they were in there was like 4 or 5 of them in super carriers. It was amazing. It's really helpful too when they PM you to ask you to help them move. I gotta
Part of
say.
the issue that I see is I don't think there was. Personally, the more I think about it, the more I feel like all the concerns that CCP has now with the amount of ISK being generated in the game, the amount of wealth that's being generated in the game, it's their fault, and it's not their fault because they allowed that much wealth to be generated. It's their fault because they gave us nothing else to buy with it that was expensive and useful for a long time.
I agree with that.
I mean, the first Titans came out in 2006. They have not added any ships bigger than that in 14 years.
I gotta say though, I don't care about SP. I don't care about your SP. I just want fucking Angel Cartel Titans already.
I know.
Where the fuck's my crab?
Can we please get something that's bigger or better than a Titan? It's been 14 years. I think that should be okay.
T3 Titans.
Would you rather have
action?
It's like, would you rather have Titans be bigger and better, or would you rather just have them be more expensive?
I'd rather them be bigger and better because, frankly, I'd like to have something new that's interesting. You know, Faction Titans are slightly better and not worth the extra ISK.
Faction
what's the point?
I'd like to see more T3 ships, because T3 is really, really interesting with what you can do with it. And I think that the game would only benefit from having like a Marauder, like a T3 Marauder or something like that.
I don't think there's. See, the Akaroth and the guys are. I don't like the idea of power creep, but here's the thing: every game has power creep. It's inevitable. They're always going to add new end-game content for the guys that got to the end game, except Eve. We don't do that. It's just big wars are the end-game content. But there's no new stuff. That's the biggest issue. Is people are sitting on all this wealth and they have nothing to do with it. So it just sits there. So they buy a third Titan or a fourth Titan. But how many people are sitting on more than one Titan? I know I am. How many people have alts that they're not even sub because they don't use them anymore because there's no reason to use them? That's my biggest issue.
I don't think a Titan is the absolute end game. I'm an 06 character and I don't have a single Titan skill injected. Because there's a whole bunch of other ships that I'd rather learn to fly better, and then I'm a little at the same time. There was a point in time when if you locked your character into a Titan, you're kind of fucked. So maybe I'm considering it now, but
I disagree that the end game is at the end of the Titan. I don't think that's the end game.
I agree.
I think everybody's end game is different, obviously, but I think that for a lot of players,
isn't necessarily
getting a Titan is an aspirational thing. And once you get there, what's the next aspirational thing? Another one? Or once you get there, then what?
Then they need to set a new in-game goal. There's always more to do. It's just, are you going to do it? Or are you just going to get your Titan and call it quit?
Or just bring back can flipping.
So
for God's sakes.
I made a suggestion one time. It got a lot of downvotes on Reddit, but my suggestion was really good. I suggested that they do, like, you know how there's these games, like there's AFK Arena, where like you combine champions, and when you combine three blue champions, when you combine 3 blue champions, you get 1 purple champion. You combine 2 purple champions, you get a gold champion. When you combine the 3 gold champions, then you get an ascended champion. Why don't they do that with ships?
No, downvoted.
You just
no.
You take 3 Titans.
They kind of do.
You take 3
build
Titans.
a Tech 2 ship, it takes the Tech 1 ship to build it.
But with Titans and Supers, like you take.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem. I mean, I think there are ways for them to do that.
avatars, and you smush them together, and you get an Avatar Plus.
I mean, just have Titan. Just have a Titan that you could actually buy that as like a plus 2% damage modifier, and like everyone will fucking spend their money. Like,
I'm just saying.
Actually, like anyone. Right?
It has been 14 years since we've had a big ship introduced. Can we get another big ship? Maybe just something new.
I just want to see Sisters of
suck up all the wealth.
Sisters of Eve.
Dude, Sisters of Eve. Oh yeah, dude.
I don't think it's an unreasonable request to have something bigger.
Like you're doing your fucking data sites in a fucking super. That'd be amazing.
Wait,
frankly, I think every one of these lines all the ship lines should have capital and Titans.
I agree.
Why are there no? I mean, Sanchez jumps. They should. Everybody should have. They should all the line. I mean, the trigs they need. I want a trig carrier. I want a trig super carrier. I want to
play with the World Arc.
I want the Angels Titans.
So did you guys really not like my idea?
Titans, just not all of them. Yeah, World Arc. Shit, I'd love to. Let that be a thing.
Undock your own friends.
Citadels. I mean, when they first came out with Citadels, you
Make the
originally
World
could
Arc a
warp them
movable cube
around.
star. There you
guys
go.
remember that?
Let
People
somebody
would
build
dock,
that shit.
and they would just like warp.
There are things that they could do to suck up some of this wealth that doesn't involve like nerfing everything into the ground, so that people are pissed because they're not making as much as they were making before.
But those things are
which feels
hard.
bad.
Those things are hard to do.
Oh, I know they are.
Hilarious.
That's why
I
they
don't
do.
think are they that hard though? Because what is kind of hilarious is like I kind of feel, and this is coming from somebody who's never been on a CSM, right? But I kind of feel like CCP has been flailing around trying to get new membership into the game since I started the game, right in 2013.
They will never stop.
So it's been a tick, but I feel like
stuff will be forever.
that's been the main drive, right? But at the same time, it's like let's not forget about the dudes who continue to log in. Like a lot of the people who are talking to us right now, like I'm sure Brisk has played for quite a fucking while. Billy's played for quite a fucking while. Like, you know, you guys have been like maxed out on SP, so to speak, not actually, but you know, for all intents and purposes, for quite a while at this point. It's like, why don't you just make a new fucking Titan or a new fucking mothership or a line of cool dreads that maybe are harder to grind into? Like maybe it's going to take a long time to get into the, you know, maybe they have a lot of SP or something. Maybe this.
That's. I mean, look. Every time they add a new class of ships, I have perfect trig skills now. I started training and stuff. I'm working on my Eden Comp stuff, even though I've never flown an Eden Comp ship. They put that stuff in the game, but here's the thing, and to your point, what's easier? And obviously, it's easier to let's twist the dial and reduce the amount of income that these guys can generate, versus let's build new ships, create new ship models, get art. Let's code the ships. Let's figure out how they got to be built and do all this other kind of crap. That takes a lot of time and a lot of effort from a lot of different teams. Whereas on one side, it's just a knob change.
Frankly easier to balance.
I get why they do it.
It comes into a question of what is the easiest thing to do and what is the right thing to do for this game, right? And
and that's you know, it's funny because you sound exactly like some of the CCP guys that you'll see on these shows, and they will say that to you. If we can do it the quick way, we can do it the right way. And there's always a question of what is more expedient and where the resources are going to be and what they're going to push on. And they would love to spend all the time and money to do the right thing, but they don't always have the time and the money to do the right thing. So they tend to end up doing the quick thing, and that patches shit over, and then it becomes a problem down the road, and we have to deal with it.
You keep talking about bringing bigger ships into the game. Why can't they just go back to the lore and pull in these Late 10 Titans that they've had sitting in the lore from before Titans, you know, came to be?
The bigger Titans.
There's a ton of stuff that they have.
Yeah.
But they'd have, I mean, but physically having to go back, do the models, figuring out what the ships are going to be made from, what the blueprints are going to be, what is it going to take. Do they have the models?
They have the models because they haven't posted.
They have artwork of it, yeah.
It's the balance. It's not.
Those aren't real models. Those are literally like.
They're just
you know,
drawings. I think. I don't know if they have the in-game asset, is what I'm saying. You know, but all that stuff takes time, and the artwork and everything, it takes time.
It's the balance. The balance is what will take way more time than the artwork, right? Because anytime you introduce, you have to figure out what the role is. How does it impact the rest of the gameplay? How does it roll out with its gameplay skill sets? And then you have to sit back, and it's the 3-month mark and the 6-month mark and the 1-year mark, and how do you balance and roll each one of those things out? Every time they introduce a new ship, it's the real work starts when the ship hits the game, in terms of the time and the work that it causes. The upfront part of doing the modeling and building the ship, that's those guys know how to do that. They crank that stuff out no problem.
I say make a slightly better Titan, right? And make it a bitch to SP into, especially with skill injectors. Like, so
That's
you
what I'm
need
saying.
to get a.
But no,
Yeah.
it can't be
Smush
slightly.
'em.
It can't be slightly, because if
Smushy.
it's just slightly, then it's no
Smush 'em.
different than what we
Smush
have
'em
now.
When I say slightly, like 5% of this game is a lot, right? Like 10% of this game is fucking massive. So I mean, when I say slightly, I don't mean like a 1%, increase to something. But what I'm saying is like over the board, it's going to have to be better. To what extent is that going to be better? Probably a factor of 5% across the board, maybe.
It's got to be. I think it's got to be better than that, because I mean, look, faction titans are a thing. Exactly, faction titans are a thing, as I'm saying, and they are absolutely not worth the money. They're just not. You know, they are literally just hanger candy or a braggadocio piece. There's no real reason for a regular person to want one.
It's
You know
not
what I'd
about
like to
the
see?
it's not about the effect. It's not about how good the Faction Titan is. It's about how pretty it looks.
A T2
Oh
Rorqual.
Are we gonna make
that
it
cannot
not alpha
boost.
or something? Like, would that be nice? Like, because I know the big issue with the Faction
Did my
Titan is that
man's
the
just
second you undock
say
it, the second you undock it in a large fleet fight, a large Titan fight, the Faction Titans die pretty fucking quick, right? Like,
no.
so that's a thing.
Komodo holds up pretty
Well,
well.
Primary.
I mean, yeah, I
Wait,
mean they're
did my
I mean,
man
it
legit
will
just
fucking
say T2 Rorqual? Did I hear the
Yeah.
words T2 and
Because
Rorqual in the
there's a
same
lot
sentence?
of debate right now about the position, about what a Rorqual should do,
Jeremy, no. The
Why
T1
would we want a
Rorqual
T21
is
if we don't know
strong.
what a T1 one should do?
Did you guys
T1
not just get your fucking
strong
T2
enough.
salvage drones and now you want a T2 Rorqual?
We should have clearly defined like one ore capital that's for mining and one that's for boosting.
You do.
And
You
not
have an
have this.
orca
That's
for
going to happen. I
mining,
mean,
That's
they've
not
already
nowhere
Rorqual
announced.
for boosting.
They already pointed out in the dev blog that was put out a couple days ago that Orca and Rorqual things, they're going to look at making changes to make those ships have better rules. So we already know that's coming next year. They're already working on it.
I just want to shout out. I want to shout out Brendan Gallios for being the first person in 2.5 hours to notice that Jeremy's profile or Jeremy's picture on the screen still says he's in Brave, but he is in Test.
He wasn't. It was Major
Congratulations.
Teef. He's one of my court members. Major Teef said
Those Redline, how much does that ad cost?
If we're honest.
What?
You said contact you for an ad. How much does that cost?
That right there, I'm pricing that at $2 billion a month.
Oh, only?
Yes, $2 billion a month for that ad right there.
God, Redline's gonna start like this.
No,
this giant
so like,
conglomerate
look, if we're being honest, and I'm gonna shout it out right now, I've got editors and writers to pay, and that's how we're paying them.
ARP saved our alliance to billion-esque.
All right, well, I'm literally gonna start writing for Redline now.
Do it.
He lets anyone do it. If he lets me do it, you can do it too.
It's true.
No, I'm a really strong writer, and also I know I don't have the actual time to fucking do that. Like I just don't. I've been doing like some crazy shit right now. IRL, it's fucking insane. Rubbing it out.
What did you say?
I'd rather
did what for me?
Is that Bill?
I would rather always
see from his.
Hey guys, hey, shut up, Sager. Shut up. I'm saying hey. Hey, Rain.
Hey, girl.
Hi, Billy. Hi, how are you, Billy?
Big Bill the boss.
Jesus, I hate
Yeah,
this.
you know what to do.
I know what you do.
But yeah, no, like I'm trying to make this a real thing. I want it to be like a a legitimate thing where people can get their voice out. Because like that's the one thing I've said with Trash Talk Tuesday is I'll let anybody on. Y'all know that after
You certainly
tonight.
do.
Yes.
and
You certainly do.
I mean, there are some times when things get a little crazy, but that's okay. It's fine. But I want to do the same thing where like if you got a voice, I want you to speak your truth because everybody's got the right to talk about what they want to talk about. So
Except for Rich.
well, no, even Rich has the right to talk about what he wants to
Even
talk about.
if he's wrong 90% of the time.
Sorry guys, I tried.
Taylor Swift had no business taking that award for that music video. Beyonce had it all the time. Kanye was right. Hashtag
I'm sitting
Kanye
here quietly this entire time, Bill.
What
did I do to you?
Probably weren't even fucking born when that
Award
whole
shows literally don't matter. They've never mattered for years. Like the Grammys don't matter, the Emmys don't matter, nothing matters.
Speaking about award
Much
shows,
like your
I
post.
thought one of the things that Redline wanted to talk about was all the best stuff that happened in 2020. Have we even gotten close to that?
like 6 hours.
Like 5 minutes for at the beginning of the show that I missed.
Hey, look, we're all getting rated, so this is a perfect
Yeah, let's talk
opportunity.
about good stuff.
All right. Better not fucking forget about our little conversation.
Rated.
Right?
Which conversation? Oh, the conversation about thrashing you guys in fucking Great Wildland or Scalding Pass.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Thrashing, the quote unquote thrashing. Yeah.
It was. It was.
Were you in Thrashers? That would be funny if you were actually.
It
in
was a thrashing. Okay.
You weren't. Redline speaking out of turn really is what he's trying to do.
Nah, they were in Thrashlafars and Thrashlevations.
That sounds like a thrash-tastic opportunity.
Macarials and maelstroms of
Christ's sakes, you guys! I swear. No, it's okay. We don't.
Cowards like you on battleships, dude. Just gonna say.
I just really enjoyed killing all those blue targets.
Yep, we can talk about that. If we're actually going to talk about that, we should actually
let's talk about
that. You
AWOCs?
Red line.
That's the thing is, I'm not sure.
I'm not here. Did you actually put my avatar up for once in the one night that I wasn't here?
I'm
pretty sure Redline said his fucking overview to capitals and just hoard on everything.
I did.
I looked at your kill board, dude. It looked like there may have been some blue things on your kill board. Not gonna.
Well, so here's the thing: is so basically what we're talking about, and I'll get the battle report and I'll post it in the chat. I wish that we would have had more time to talk about it, but I mean, I'm not planning on going anywhere because it's all good. So this is the battle report. It's in the Twitch chat eventually right now. So this BR right here was a blast. Apparently, Dreadbomb has a Fortizar in Scalding Pass, and there was a timer. Is that correct? There was a timer, right? I don't even know why we were there.
So why were we there?
I don't.
This is your time to shine. There was a.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is we were there because we had a Fortizar. It was
Note said it was
reinforced and
there.
We were defending it. I wasn't
Like
even
a
there.
fun fight. Holy shit.
I wasn't even there. I was on vacation. I was on Christmas holidays.
You gotta fuck up my shit, bro.
Yeah,
But
so
I mean, we
so
had a
Seto wasn't there.
we had a timer. We had a fight. There's the story.
It was like a fun BR. Holy shit.
It was really
like
fun.
a slaughter. Holy cow.
But here's
Wait, whoa. How is that actually a slaughter?
No, on
I
both
mean,
sides.
it's a
Titans or not
bloodbath.
Titans.
Yeah.
Caps died. That's all I need to see. It was fun. It looked like fun, sorry.
Actually, everyone had a tremendous.
I guess we lost because it depends on how you define lost. I guess because the Fortizar was saved, we lost the escort. When their dreads absolutely ate shit. They lost all their dreads, and I think we had like 15 still on grid. I was on my phone on Discord, like trying to track everything, and we had like 15 dreads left, but we had lost the subcap fight because they had like 2 battleship fleets, a Macarial fleet and a Maelstrom fleet, because we didn't even think that NC or whatever group of fucking, I don't even know what you call that group, like a bunch of, I don't know, whatever Bob's group. Pan Russ.
Pan Russ is what I'm calling it because I think that's a good name.
Is NSH
What?
still a
Pan
part of
what?
What?
Pan Russ because it was Pan Fam, like it was
XIX plus.
It was a bunch. Like there was so if you look at the BR,
is NSH considered a Pan Fam still, or did they leave?
NSH is friends with NC.
There were snuff tubes there.
So is
I don't know what that group is.
So no, it's easier if you just say I was fighting Eve.
Yeah, so
I
basically
was fighting Eve, and I didn't know they were.
Yeah, how did I miss this fight? Jesus.
Snuff
I don't know,
is on
man.
this battle report. Can I just?
look,
I want to say a couple.
I was Christmas Eve. That's why I missed.
Yeah, so this was it was Christmas Eve. It was actually the 23rd America time. Like it wasn't Christmas Eve quite yet.
Oh, it was like 10 o'clock. All right.
Yeah. So it was 10 o'clock on the 23rd or something like that. But this was essentially a random spattering of like it was NC, Horde, Snuffed Out was there, LSH was
A
there.
bunch of trusted guys that Bob knew, I guess, is my best.
Apparently.
Because
I mean,
I'll be honest, I had no intel that was even happening.
When you say Bob
was on the other side.
Bob, say Bob and trusted guys, dude. Like I don't even know what that means. I think it's whoever the fuck would listen to Bob.
Yeah, whoever
at
would listen.
that given instant in time was
dude,
on.
you gotta.
Why the hell were we attacking that Fortizar?
also say Brother Bob calls targets like an old fucking lady? Can I just say that? Like he really does.
No, you can't because you have to put respect on Bob's name for bringing
Basically,
together.
the fact that there
such
was a Maelstrom
strange
fleet
group.
there was the reason that we ended up quote unquote losing the fight. I guess. I mean, it was fun. Everyone had fun. It was a good thing to have before Christmas. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff we do, and we're gonna keep doing. So, I mean,
in this
those are the
battle
kind of
report,
fights that I strive to get, and I was really pissed that I was not there. But I
Right,
mean,
and there was
That's
no
a pretty
tie-dye.
even fight, though.
battle-
That's not that bad. I don't see
No, no,
anything
no.
bad on that battle report.
Is
I think
battle
both
report? No,
sides-
I do though because like we did not have 318 people in that fight. Like so on the one that you link, Pandemic Legion is on our side, so fucking kick those guys
so
out.
yeah, the
I'm
reason
sorry.
for
I'm
that
sorry.
It
Let
is,
me clarify that the Pandemic Legion Dreadnought that is on your side jumped in on your fucking side now.
Yeah, he
First
did because
off.
he was in our fleet because we are really good friends with PO. Like we have a lot of close friends. That we didn't expect to be fighting you guys. We didn't know you were coming. And when Wrecking Crew came as total, Wrecking Crew like fully pulled out of Pappy, like reset standings like 2-3 weeks ago, and most of
Waffles
Wrecking
come and help
Crew,
us.
the main corps in Wrecking Crew, which would be like Few, Arden, and like the old timers have had long time good standings with Horde and NC and PL. And so when we pulled out of Pappy, those long time standings were also reset on a Diplo error. They've now been fixed, but everyone was neutral for that fight, even though like a lot of those guys had been old friends. So like I think Few was still blue to PL, PL was still blue to yada yada yada. Like we had PL guys on our fleet because they usually fly with us sometimes, and no one expected you guys to show up to that fight. You were the last people I expected to show up to that fight. And it's because of a standings error, but we jumped and we're like, all right, fuck it, let's just keep going. Like, no sense in stopping. Since then, it's been fixed and like everything's good. But at the end of the day, it was just a fun fight to have before Christmas. I mean, the forts were saved. Everyone had a good time. It looks like Bob got to finally throw his dreads away that he had left over from the cash event.
Right.
You know,
That's the
Hey, like,
takeaway. That's the big
most
takeaway is that
best,
those are
but
all like every maelstrom that you see there was a handout. So like almost every single ship on our side of that battle report was a ship that we had in Kashganistan that now we don't have to move. It's so fucking nice because it was all like a cache basically.
call this the most incestuous EVE Online fight of 2020. I think we probably almost could. Like
we were not the best fight of 2020. I can tell you that. I mean, that was a fun fight. Don't get me wrong.
I was not in this fight. It looks like a fucking epic fight to be in.
I think the best fight of 2020 was the Lantern fights in low sec, where it was just Dreadball and Dreadball for like 300 dreads for like 4 hours straight. I don't even think it was. I don't think I would. I mean, at least not from my perspective. I wouldn't consider the Keepstar fights in YZ9 when Legacy kept trying to drop ones. I would not consider those really fun.
Those were fun.
I mean, if you had fun in them, good for
They were
you.
fun.
But I don't. I
He
couldn't
didn't
see
have
myself
fun
in it
on
having
them.
fun.
He had fun streaming them. There's a difference.
I was on them at the same time.
No, you weren't, Brisk. You were
I
streaming
totally
them.
was. I lost
You-
tons. I lost like 5 ravens.
You're just a Twitch streamer now, Brisk.
Oh,
You're-
Jesus.
The
you don't
Lantor
even-
fights because I was
you don't
busy
even- you don't even play EVE Online.
Can I just say Seto's description of like the blue on blue was like the most wholesome way of describing that. It's like, yeah, we kind of
Ridiculous.
fucked up, but it's all fine. So we just shot each other and had fun. Like that was so wholesome.
I think politics in this game can be really annoying, and I think that drama evolves for it. So I mean, I don't really fucking care. I just want to have fun shooting shit. That's all. That's what I play the game for.
It looks like
I would argue that there are a lot of people who don't like that.
Kind of,
A lot of people who don't like that kind of attitude in the game, though, right? Like if you look at the Elon Knight kind of career, that's one that I mean, they're contracted to do this or that, and then there's politics involved, and he's not really into politics. Then he goes and does something else, and everyone gets fucking mad, and it's this whole fucking thing. So like, I totally relate to what Seto's saying because that is really the essence of like if you're neutral to the majority of EVE, then you're gonna have a lot of
I'm here.
fun as a group.
I'm here to make friends and shoot shit. Nothing else. That's all I do
Absolutely.
this game for. And
Brisk,
at the end of the day, if all of EVE teams up against me because I won't blue one side or the other, won't favor one side or the other, yada yada yada, so be it. I mean, I don't care. When we realized that there was an error in the standings and they showed up, And we weren't just gonna like bitch there and complain. We didn't really make a huge deal out of it. We just poked like Gobbins and a few other people like the NCPL like Diplos and were like, hey, seems like there was an error. Can we fix this? I mean, we had a fight. We lost, I don't know, 300 bill in total through it all, and it was fun. But can we fix it so it doesn't happen again? You know, it was whatever.
I went into Original Sinners fucking public because I'm just in there, right? And and LS is there, and Bob is there, and Pitts is there, and Redline.
I'm there.
And and I kind of made a bunch of I made a bunch of jokes. Like I was kind of just like, like I was razzing you guys.
You
like,
were
oh,
fuming.
I was
fuming.
I was not fuming. Like, no, when I'm fucking fuming, dude, you're gonna
Were you
fucking
fuming,
know.
Loki?
You're gonna know that I'm fucking fuming.
Were
No,
you
no, no.
fuming?
You will know that I'm fucking fuming. Like I was literally just razzing a little bit, and Ellis is like, "Well, you don't have to get mad." I'm like, "I'm not mad. I'm actually this was probably the best thing that happened to my corpies in a while. Like this was like a fucking great battleship fight. Like
It was
how
great.
many
Yeah,
battleship
totally.
fights you get
Like,
in a game?
like everyone had fun, and like I think like the only negative takeaway I took away from this is I need more intel, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
You know,
You need
That's fair.
only
Who
negative
doesn't?
Or eyes and
Exactly.
fucking main pipelines or something.
Or
But
just don't be lazy, because I mean I wasn't there for this, and like we were sort of lazy with our intel and everything, and like we didn't have eyes anywhere pretty much, except for
But
like
did you?
we were only tracking like fire, and that was pretty much it. I wasn't even FCing or online at the time. I just asked Spartan to FC, and I was like, okay, my guys,
Dude, you're still
go
neutral
to
to
Spartan.
us, though.
Bomb will be, yeah, but the other few wrecking,
Dreadbomb is, but
Dreadbomb
wouldn't
will
be.
be, but the main RC groups will not be.
You guys should have been shooting blues and then also Dreadbomb, but you shot a bunch of neutrals.
No, I
Doesn't
haven't
matter.
talked to
At the
you
end of the
since.
day, it doesn't matter. No one,
Who
neither
cares?
parties.
It was a good fight.
Yeah, neither parties were upset or gave a shit at the end of the day. You know.
I see.
We
Okay.
certainly didn't care. My guys had a lot of fucking fun. They were like, when I say my guys, I don't mean Dreadbomb. I mean like my specific corporation guys. Guys in my corp were super fucking happy. It was a battleship fight, almost an entirely pure battleship fight until Init showed up with no.
It didn't do jack shit anyways. It don't matter.
They
showed up
didn't.
in like
They
10
really
minutes.
didn't. They really didn't do anything. But it was like a pure. It was like a battleship fight with a really nice, clean cap escalation. It resulted in relative even percentages. Even if like I don't know where the fuck we're getting even numbers from, but like I'll
Because
figure that
Macaros are
out
more
later.
expensive than Maelstroms. That's the only reason. I
No,
mean,
no, not that. I mean, even like numbers, like fleet numbers from like 318 to 378. Like I'm not tracking that on the one that I have, but that could also maybe just be some kind of
it
weird.
was more the fact that it was two battleship fleets firing on a single and only one firing back, so it just takes longer to whittle it down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just how it is. Shield
For sure,
Maelstroms are a
but
good way to counter max. So
I mean, and
really missed playing that doctrine.
Bunny is horny for Maelstroms all the time, right? Like that's pretty much like what I've gotten from that guy the entire time he's played Eve. He went on the FC show and talked about how he loves Maelstroms and shit like that. So
I remember in the
Yes,
cash campaign, he would always PM me asking if I wanted to join him in a Maelstrom fight, and I was like, sure. But it was always Bob's a good guy. I have a lot of respect for Bob.
Oh, I've known Bob for fucking way too long, but yeah, Bob's a good guy. He's also a cunt, but I love him though.
Short term of the story, a fight was happening. No real blue on blue happened. It was just weird because it was a lot of ex friends. But yeah,
a lot of ex friends.
Every time I go kill Brave, I feel bad because I love those guys. It's
Brave.
the nature of the beast, sadly. They should stop shooting me.
I don't think they shoot you because they have to.
I shoot them because I have to.
You don't have
Brisky, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's nice being in Imperium because we don't do that whole blue donut bullshit where we have like.
Oh my god!
Handful
You know, isn't it great when
Here
we
we go.
don't have the entire world blued up?
Very blue, right?
Damn, it's just
so many
nice
people to
because
shoot at.
we don't have to worry about all this diplomacy bullshit.
Lovely walk down
Yeah.
memory lane from 4 years ago. Thanks for bringing that.
Hey, anytime you're not allowed to talk about anything that's more than 3 years old. We already established that before.
All right.
What happened? I don't understand that. You can talk about anything you want to, whenever you want to.
The jail, the comment that jail. I don't want to talk to anybody that started playing the game more than 3 years ago.
Oh, you're going that direction.
I was making a joke, yes,
I see.
about someone who's not here to defend himself.
I understand
that's
now.
Spawn.
So, and since you said that, I counter with war bonds.
Hey, look, I'm still selling them.
Riz,
Like,
can
stop
you-
billion gets you 100
Riz,
billion never.
Can you
Stop
do me a favor?
being
Riz?
so jealous that you didn't come
Someone
up with
who
the name. War
stays
bonds.
mostly out of touch with what's happening in the war. Mostly. What is a war
Who is?
bond?
So how about I explain it because
Or Bill,
I'm
Bill,
more.
either one of
Bill's the
you.
finance guy. We'll let
I
Bill
just,
explain.
you know what I did? I was on vacation. I looked up Reddit. I saw a bunch of things about war bonds, and I didn't even know what the fuck they were all about. So fill me in, Bob.
So it's based on a. People call me Bob all the time for some reason. I don't know why. But
Hello, Bob.
Big Bob the boss.
also, I haven't
Brother
spoke to you
Bob
since
and Big Bill
SDC
Bob.
Championship.
Like,
Big Bob the boss.
they're still from the southern part of the United States. That's like the same thing.
Give your shitty explanation. Give your
All right,
shitty
so
explanation of war bonds. Let's go. Let's hear it.
War bonds are a way to, with the upcoming core changes, it's just such a large understanding and observing the amount of infrastructure that the Goonswarm and Imperium coalition have within the space of Delve and other places. There's a lot of
Bill
cores
was
that are
taking
needed.
too long.
So in order to offset that surge of expense, the war bond was created, which is essentially.
So does that mean you're broke?
Yep,
I still think you're broke.
No,
They're
it's just
100%
offsets-
broke.
it
Bill,
Let's be
offsets-
clear here.
What it is.
Let's be
Here
clear
is what
here.
it is.
Let's be
Here's
clear
what
here.
it is.
They're not broke.
Here is what it is. A war bond is a loan that the big group takes out from their players. So the players will say, I will buy a 10 billion ISK war bond. And then the bigger group says, we will pay you back 20 billion ISK in 6 months or however long it is. I'm making these numbers, I'm pulling them out of my ass. But that's basically what it is. It's just a loan from the membership.
The numbers I heard, somebody, maybe it was Elysium or somewhere else, I heard 6% per year. Is that correct?
I have no details on what they're going to look like yet. We haven't seen any of that stuff yet.
Yo, that's better than real life.
But I mean, typically speaking, it's the goal is that you in any real life situation you sell these things and then you pay them back later. It's just a way to raise cash quickly. That's all.
Yeah, it's just like the same as a company going public and then deciding.
You
not
cheat
to
a
be
scammer.
public anymore. No,
It's
the opposite.
doubling
It's totally
for
a
dummies.
cheat a scammer.
Well,
I mean,
sorry, we don't
obviously, the risk is, if your alliance is going to be willing to pay you back later. Although I think Goons, if they could, would definitely will be. But
Sorry,
So
Red
that's
Line.
what
We don't
they
have all that botting rental income that you guys have over there.
Oh,
on
don't
the,
even
east
suck and
side
say
of-
botting after the last hours we
Bill.
spent on that.
You
bullshit.
brought it back. Somebody.
I'm sorry. Forget I said it.
what
fuck, Rich
botting
unmuted
rental
himself.
income do you think I have?
I meant bopping, like
Popping. Exactly. So here's the funny thing that I think about the war bonds. Like I don't care that Goons are planning on doing war bonds. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I don't think it's a bad
Is
idea.
NC doing NC bonds? Is everyone
but-
doing war bonds?
What bothers me about it is that the reason that you're doing, like the reason that you're proud of it, is because your enemies can't do it. They wish they thought of the idea. They're jealous because they can't get war bonds. And I think that's so fucking childish. That is literally the most childish thing I've ever heard.
No,
come
it's so
out of a
funny
grown
because
man's mouth.
you guys can't do it now. Because if you do it, then you're gonna be like, oh, well, we can't make fun of goons anymore. That's not fun.
We don't
That's
need
the thing.
to do it.
We don't need to do it.
But that's not the point. It's that even if you did need to do it, that this would be precluded from you because you'd look like a bunch of crybabies if you did it after we.
Wait. Isn't
Even with
Goons,
the option of
Goons was
selling
the
Girl Scout cookies.
industry powerhouse for what, 2 to 4 years?
Bill,
How the hell have you not been able to make enough money to actually pay for
We
this
have-
massive thing
we
as
have
every
talked
other
about this.
coalition
Listen,
can?
Listen, we have talked
This isn't about
this.
cores, Bill. Let's stop with that. Like
We
that's
have
just
talked
like
this.
smoke
We
and
have talked
mirrors.
about this on this show multiple times, and Villy has raised the question, and we've explained the way that the Imperium operates. At least Goons and it's different, but the way that Goons have always operated, they are extremely generous in the stuff that they provide their members. So the result is that the Alliance has a ton of assets, does not have a ton of liquid ISK. The members have all the liquid ISK because they push the money out to the membership. Other groups don't do that. And that's fine. It's just a different way of running things. But the reality is, Goons as a group collectively have a shit ton of ISK. The Alliance itself, maybe not as much, but the players do. And so this is a situation where you say, hey, give us a quick loan. We're going to spend some money on a specific thing. We need to raise cash quickly. It's easier than trying to sell off a bunch of assets that as soon as we dump this stuff on the market, it's going to drop the prices and we're going to lose money on it. Let's just borrow it from the membership and we'll pay them back later. And we've done it before. And that's it.
Can I ask an obvious question? So if you borrow a bunch of money from membership while all your shit is burning, then all your shit burns down, then your ability to actually generate ISK is kind of like stifled substantially or entirely. And then you have to relocate. Like, how long are these bonds good for? Is this like a...
Loki, we have enough.
We don't have any details about
how long
the risk
I
index.
can't really go into it, but we like
when you say like the bonds, we're gonna ask for bonds later, right? Like when is later? It's later when there's no more dells because that's gonna be
Later
different.
when there's no more servers.
What the risk index is, right? What's the risk that I'm going to give you the money and I won't get it back? What's the
like 100%?
I mean, Imperium has a pretty good credit score. Last time I looked,
I would say that given the fact that this is one of the biggest groups in the game, one of the most organized groups in the game, they've successfully run this before. I think it's a pretty sound investment. Overall.
You literally just said that like they have not a lot of ISK on hand necessarily. Just a lot of.
But the point is, the reason for that is because they are very generous with the stuff that they pay out to the membership.
Right.
So
pay back the bond.
All they got to do is change
that. They got the value back. They got the value already. Now give us some fucking S. So
but that's the point. Like when you've got some corporations that have double SRP for ships and stuff. Yeah, the members got the money.
So would you agree with risk on that Goons are more, I guess, generous to their members than, say, Pandemic Horde or Test?
Yes. Yeah, we're much more generous than Test.
And I think Willie would even admit that. I think the other guys would admit. I mean, look, the NC guys don't get SRP at all. So hey,
sure we do.
You know
what?
Well,
what
I promise to pay the bearer on demand 1 billion. So right here.
Rich, what does OASA look like?
OASA, 30 billion reserve bank. I can't wait for the reserve bank keys to come out. Not too keen on dealing with fraternity though. Gotta time it.
Yeah, because fraternity is not going to grab that instantly.
Here's the thing, guys. You definitely get SRP. That's it. That's the thing.
Do you really? Because I was under the impression that you guys didn't do SRP.
No, we do.
NCDOT's had SRP forever. I mean, I've never actually applied for it when I was there, but
do SRP in 2020.
That's weird. I thought somebody told me that you guys did not do it.
I mean, I've probably said it as a meme several times because it would be.
I think one of my case files read that Brave's SRP was a bit of a sorry state recently.
I thought last time practically still do full SRP.
Wait, you have case files? What?
Of course I do. Small Gang Intelligence Network.
Oh my god, you're a private investigator of EVE Online, Rich.
They do.
Wait,
SRP, but it's not good full SRP.
Can you put an H, like a word that starts with an H, in between Small Gang and Intelligence, so that when you say it, it is what it is, which is shit intel?
Is it?
Code Brown.
So here's a question. So basically, what I'm understanding is the Imperium has a lot of structures that are currently being shot at, not a lot of actual ISK, and then we're asking dudes to like maybe throw some ISK into a bond to help us out for a while. And do you think like at a certain point, like it seems like there are some keep stars that are beginning to die in Delve. So
Loki, here I'm gonna throw something.
Those are all.
You might be able to
this is a stage investment to fucking throw it. Like I don't know. It seems like a bad fucking investment.
Let me fucking explain it to you real quick, okay?
I'd love for you to explain this to me. It seems like I'm throwing my money into a fucking fire here.
Think of like an entire year's worth of an R64 sold in Jita, okay? How much fucking moon goo that is, all right? Across the entire year in Jita, all right? Okay.
A lot of fucking money,
It takes a fucking while to liquidate that much fucking assets.
But you guys have already liquidated large portions of your asset cache. I don't think I think you're down to like the final 25%, right?
I'm gonna say no. I can't really comment on anything.
And to be fair, the
Oh,
reason
okay.
he
So,
can't
To be
comment
fair.
on it is because he doesn't know. To be fair.
Hang on,
Oh,
I'm
no,
gonna go
I've
get a
seen
beer.
screenshots.
Bill, talk to Billy about this. I'll be right back.
No, the point is, and Bill's point is what I said before. And I mean, look, you dump $4 trillion ISK worth of stuff on the market, it's not going to be worth $4 trillion ISK in the morning.
Thank you.
It's just the nature of the beast. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's easier to get the liquid ISK from people that have liquid ISK than trying to convert assets into liquid ISK very quickly, even over a month or two time period. That's just the nature of the way that ETH works, especially for groups like Goons and the rest, where a large percentage of the wealth that they've generated over the last couple of years has been in minerals. Now, the other thing is all those keep stars and everything. Don't act like nobody should act like those 40 some, 50 some, 60 some keep stars in Delve and elsewhere, that those were all purchased by DJ's Holding, and that those were all Goon assets that were bought with Alliance money. They weren't. Most of those were generated from corporations and players who bought them and wanted to put them up in their area because they wanted an easy place to dock a super when they were crabbing or some bullshit like that. So all of that stuff has already been paid for. It's not Alliance money that even went into it. Now it's Alliance money fueling the shit and everything now, but it wasn't before.
Guys,
so hey, you know what? You lose it.
Risk, you can't
big deal.
say that. You can't say that because that makes it a lot worse. That
Why
literally
does it
makes
make
it
it
look
worse?
like people have already invested in Goons and Goon space, and their investments are being returned as
No. Come on.
Yeah,
No,
no,
that's not.
it
That's not right. No, it's
That's
not.
exactly what it
It's
sounds
not.
like.
If
I put a
corporation
keep star,
if a corporation puts a keep
corporate
star up in an
Goons,
area and says, "Hey, we just want this here for convenience. It has no strategic value," then they did that, and
it
there's
does
nothing
have
wrong with
strategic
that.
value.
It
Every
doesn't
single
have
keep
to.
star has strategic
Oh no,
value.
they can't. Oh, come the fuck on. No, they can't.
Redline, go
It
look. We've
does.
been in Dell for 4 years. Go look at the fucking MERs of the last 4 years. I would say that investment has been returned probably quadruple times over.
You're
But
still not
if you
giving
have
us
more
every inch
questions
of
about it,
blood,
Guys, we were talking about this before. What the hell else are you going to spend your money on? People had it's coming out of their asses. They had nothing to spend it on. They had multiple Titans. They had all the Rorquals. What are they going to do? Well, let's buy a keep star. We'll put it here. Okay,
you
great.
invest in your space though, right? And you don't get that return. Like, so
Yeah,
I'm just saying, in my opinion, this is my opinion, right?
I understand what you're saying.
If I'm gonna put a keep star in the space that my alliance owns, and I'm gonna make that open to my alliance to use and to do all that kind of stuff, then I'm going to expect that when my alliance leader says these guys are going to pay on every single keep start timer, I hope you enjoyed setting for 10 hours in tie-dye because you're going to do it 180 times, which became the meme of the week on Reddit. Like, I would expect that they would follow through on that because that's not a small amount of money for a player or even a corporation.
It's not. Look, it's not a lot of money either in the long run compared to what these guys are generating for years
But
at a
it
time.
is an investment, though.
It was an investment at the time, but exactly, it has been returned. Those things have been paid for over and over again. And if they're lost, there is not a single group, there's not a single corporation in any of our groups that's going to say, "Oh my God, they killed my keep star that I put all my time and effort into building." They don't care because they care more about the existence and the overall benefit to the entire group than they do about any one or two structures. But that's just the nature of EVE. You have to get used. I mean, maybe you're pissed. It sucks that we lost this. This is a shame.
Yeah, but you don't have the infrastructure over there in NC land like we do in Delve.
What do you mean?
You don't have that ratting and the valleys of fucking flowers and the mountains of vineyards and everything.
Oh,
you don't have that.
So good. You're doing so good, dude.
Which Malpace are you roaming, dude? Because oh wait, you don't roam our space, do you?
Wait, Red, you live in
every once in a
Malpace?
while.
Because you have structures there. Just saying, you do have infrastructure there. You just don't have a keep star in every system because you don't need a keep star in every system.
Well, it's
excessive.
fair,
That's why every other coalition doesn't do that.
So talk me through this investment. Talk me through this.
Jesus Christ! Can we find a fucking coloring book for this shit to explain it again? Like,
so these are promised to pay the pair on demand.
Not on demand. No, that's not what it is. It's not a bearer.
Not a
demand. Bond.
From the sounds of it, it's 6% per annum and a year payout probably.
A year
payout, something like that. I mean, that's every bond is typically months and months and months of time before it matures.
Very well.
And
for the record, that was a rumor I heard. Not a fucking.
And we've seen nothing. The people that are going to be asked to buy these bonds have seen none of the details yet. So,
I look forward
to
it.
Then we'll talk about it.
I look forward to seeing how it goes.
I'm pretty convinced that it was all just bait. Like, it was only mentioned on the fireside so that somebody else would talk about it, and then they'd be like, "See how stupid our enemies are? They believe anything we say, ha ha." That's what I would do anyway.
Ha, gotcha.
I used to know people who would make up shit about themselves just to see who would use it against them.
That's kind of dumb.
It's really dumb. It got tiring really quickly.
Because enough people repeating it and it becomes true. At least in the minds of those who are.
The worst part is when third-party people that start making stuff up about you that you didn't even make up, and then you're like, "Whoa."
That's not true. Well, what you said the other stuff was.
Like, there's 3 separations of bullshit from like reality to. I think that means you're becoming a celebrity, my friend. I think that means you're becoming
a legend.
He's already got other people using his last name.
When you say something like, "Well, Imperium are structure rich," and you literally have an entire force killing the structures, and then you say, "That's where all our money went, so we need some fucking money."
No, that's not what we said.
That is
that's not
structure. Structures are the assets.
Sounds like that's
what we
Those
said.
aren't the assets that we're referring to that would be
talking
liquidated.
About mineral assets and stuff
we
like
have many mineral assets, do you?
I
They're
really
attempting
hope
to make
you
the
did.
claim that their money,
No, we
their
are making
hoarded
the
cash,
claim.
is in minerals
We're
and
not
moon materials
Not
and
in
other trade goods.
Materials went
No,
down
not
by
just
what,
that.
3
Well,
times?
what happened? What happened to those mineral caches? Are they going down with the new scarcity patch? Did you guys?
There's not much left of
A lot of them into
Yes,
rape.
sir.
Blow up. I know we did that.
But a lot of them in
We're
the
using-
Ravens, you said?
I was using Moongoo as an example, Loki. I don't think that you were here for that.
Looking at the production
You guys
numbers,
were literally like,
they're
you guys were like killing ravens filled with minerals because there were so many minerals. Is that what we're hearing?
someone
It sounds
asked
like
in
there's
chat.
It sounds like there's a lot of
when-
bullshit being slung around, and I think we just kind of stomped out a little bit of it. So good fight, guys.
Go look at the MERs. It's all there. You can look at it and
So
see.
someone asked in chat, when is Init going to pull a CO2? The answer is never, because they don't have the ability to.
We don't have the desire. Why would we want to do that? What would be the best to us?
I don't think you'll see initiative switch sides just because there's too much deep-seated.
Yeah, that was something I was talking about with Ron on his stream. He was like, "Init will eventually leave goons," and I was like, "No, they won't. There's no reason for them to. Like, and it'll fail Cascade before they leave goons." Sound accurate to you, Brisk?
I think that is probably correct. Yes.
Brisk, will these war bonds be issued to initiative members too? Will we finally see
I'll buy some. I mean,
how do you expect Brisk to know?
I don't know. I mean, I expect him to be issuing his own currency sooner or later. I want to get my hands on some Brisk rubles.
There you go.
Jesus.
No, Fountain Frank Imperium War Bonds. 10 billion is pays 100 billion never. Go ahead and buy some.
But see, that was funny when it was a meme. But now
Still a meme.
It's real.
Still a meme.
It's real now.
It's not real. It's not real till it happens. But it's
about to be.
Still... Well, hopefully it is. I don't care. Frankly, I'd like to put my money into something that I know I'll get some return on. Instead of
Fountain Frank marks
that I know is going to end up getting fucked.
I don't know. I think Fountain Frank marks would get inflated.
You would probably make more money, like
anything else.
You would probably make more money than war bonds if you did a Fountain Frank OnlyFans and just posted random, like, not even sultry pictures of you in that costume. Like and then turned that money into Plex and sold it. You'd probably make more money than
$4.99 gets like unlimited pictures of me in a beret. There you go. Actually, I was thinking about doing an infomercial for the war bonds. I haven't figured that out yet. I might do that.
I mean, that would be great. It would be very, very memey. You'd probably enjoy it a lot. But a lot of people would make fun of you for it. People that you don't care about making fun of you.
How is that different than now?
It's
that
probably
strikes
not, actually.
the thing that's worries about.
That's a pretty valid point, dude. It's probably not any different than right now. And its leaders are psychopaths, is what somebody says in the chat. That's an insane thing to say. Can we talk more? Oh, aren't. Oops.
No, he's saying he's talking about GigX. That's it.
Oh, okay. I thought he said.
With that being said, I don't think calling anyone a psychopath in Eve is legitimate.
I don't think GigX was a psychopath either.
Aren't we all a little bit crazy though?
We're all a little bit crazy, but
play this
there's a line on the personal attacks I think that goes.
I'm not. I'm perfectly fucking insane. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
You guys can all personally attack me as much as you fucking want. By the way, I don't give a fuck.
You smell like a bean, and you're a bitch.
You put mayonnaise on hot dogs.
You had me at bean. You had me at bean. I have literally put mayonnaise on a hot dog once. It's actually pretty good.
And I travel to Canada anymore because there's a slight chance I might eat some of it.
Okay, so guys, unfortunately for right now, we're gonna have to cut this a little short. I mean, it's been 3 hours, accidentally a 3-hour show.
Well, 3 more.
3 more hours? No, I gotta go to work eventually. And it's snowing and.
Oh, is that snow gonna come down here?
Canada, dude. It gets worse the further north you go, by the way, and I'm pretty fucking far up north right now.
I mean, okay.
Cool, Loki. Glad you added that to the conversation.
Yeah, dude. Fucking man. Fucking cowboy the fuck up, Redline.
Hey,
get the winter tires
in your peanut butter on your hot dog, and you'll love it.
We can end with whatever the thing you wanted to talk about, the wholesome thing about our favorite thing in 2020 or something like that.
Yes, that is what I want to do. I want to do, instead of like the normal shout out final thoughts, I want everybody to go down the list and talk about their favorite thing that happened in Eve in 2020. Doesn't have to be long. It just, has just a little short. And then if you want, I want you to say one thing that you want to accomplish in Eve in 2021. I have to do that part, but I think it'd be interesting. So let's start with Rundle, and we'll just go down.
All right, most interesting 2020. Kind of touched on it earlier. Getting back into nullsec, I think joining AARP has been a great blast. So that's probably one of the big things. And being involved in a big war where perseverance and consistency is going to be the thing that really will win it. I like that aspect of the game. 2021, tough call. I think I actually want to get a massive PI chain set up in nullsec. I'd really like to get that going. That's what I want to do in 2021. It's one of the things I want to do. There we go.
So now you say popcorn wagon. He goes next. I'm sorry, that was lame.
Yeah, whatever. My favorite thing about 2020 is probably just stepping up as an FC instead of just being a translator for Frat, and just meeting a bunch more new people, and stuff. It was fun. Just getting to know the Eve community, and for 2021, let's just say I want to continue playing the game because I'm going to start my basically the equivalent of SAT soon. So I want to still find time to play this game, but yeah, we'll see.
Good shit, dude. All right, Bill.
My favorite thing of 2020 would probably actually the most irritating. It's like a twofold. Okay. Jumping or MJDing Black Ops battleships off of the station undocked and then killing them with a command destroyer, and then using the NPC Diamond Rats to kill the other Black Ops battleships. 2021, I would like to finish my little SQL project I was doing to create my own industry tool.
Neat. All right, Brisk.
What about chop liver?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Jeremy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wow, I was about to say.
chop liver.
Don't worry, I got you,
about to
Jeremy.
say one of my top moments this year was becoming a guest on the show, but I guess not anymore.
Okay, well I'll just move you back to the drag. Bye. No, I'm just
wait.
kidding. Continue.
I think just in general, kind of like what Dragon said, becoming an FC for Horde, then for Brave, and now for Test. It's really fun, and again, unironically, becoming a guest on this show because it's opened up so many doors for me, like coming on here every week, just meeting everyone.
Did it really?
No, like unironically, like I have learned a lot from just sitting here and just kind of listening to like the masters who have played this game for 10 years and like know what's going on and like how everything works.
You do know that like 70% of the shit that we say on here is bullshit, right?
Well, yeah, but the 30% is actually useful information that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
30%. So 95% is bullshit. 5% is
All right.
And also
semi-coherent.
people in my alliance or people like in the game or whatever, like, hey, you're that dude from like Trash Talk Tuesday or whatever. Yes, I am.
You feel like the
Yes.
Fawns.
Yes, I am. I am.
I actually met. By the way, I actually met Henry Linkler before. He's amazing. The Fawns guy is a fucking amazing human being. Just gonna say.
But my goal for 2020, sad Billy's not here because he is involved in this. I want to become I want to keep working my way up as an FC. I want to learn how to like FC capitals and become a strat FC, higher up, or at least a skirmish FC, if not a strat FC. But anyways,
Philly doesn't care, dude. You gotta work hard and do well, and then Philly's gonna start caring. Right?
Then you get more value.
Yeah, dude. You need the value.
All right, moving right along, Brisk.
I think my favorite thing from 2020 was doing the 13 hours of streaming during the Flist fight. That was fun. I'd never done that much like long-term breaking news coverage, and keeping that going for a long time. That was pretty cool. 2021, I would like to finish my CSM term without getting banned this time. That's my goal.
First time for everything, right?
Exactly.
Here's to you, sir.
Dom?
Getting back into doing, I guess they're not podcasts anymore, but the streams. So I did miss it from back in the podcast days. And it's kind of a highlight for me this year. And next year, I'd like to learn how to smoke marijuana.
Nice. All right, Loki.
All right, I got a couple things if that's okay. It's mostly equal to be honest. So I started doing this show, which was an interesting little journey. We've done many episodes, and I think that it's been a lot of fun. I started a corp, so I left NC Dot. A lot of people told me starting a corp was not a good idea in the climate that Eve was in. We started a corp. We became semi-successful. I was lucky enough to join Dreadbrawls, and so far everything's been fucking great. So I'd like to thank everybody who's made that possible, because I've had a hell of a fucking year.
So would you say that what's what corp?
you want me to shout out my Banana Republic, Banana-Republic Dot is the corp that I started with a bunch of old friends from like just random amounts of time ago, like from like 2 years ago to like 8 years ago. A bunch of guys who were like AFK as fuck or just like literally stopped playing the game. I messaged them. I started talking to them. I met a couple of them IRL for like other events, marriages and things like this, and we talked, and it was a lot of I don't know, like kind of like rekindled their kind of sense of wanting to be in the game, and we kind of started with that. We started with a couple of guys, and we kind of pulled from friends and pulled from people we've been flying with for a long time. So I'm actually pretty hype about the first 10 IRL real people in the corp are pretty fucking dope, and I think it's a great foundation to start a corp on. So I'm pretty fucking hyped.
So he's
Part of
not
their
going
group
to say it, unfortunately.
Wait, Banana Republic is recruiting, by the way, especially if you're an industrial.
Bingo!
Is that what you wanted to say? We actually need a lot of industrials. So if you're a fucking industrial and you feel like you're being undervalued and underpaid, come talk to me because I can make it better. All right. That's
Starting
it.
in 2021.
PEM.
Starting in 2021, we are literally going to have Trash Talk Tuesday bingo, and I'm going to give people skins if they win. Just saying. I just have to come up with like 25 different things, and Banana Republic being recruiting will be one of them. Just saying.
Should be like 6 of them, dude, for sure.
No. All right, Rain. How about you?
So actually there are two things. The start of this show was actually a really big highlight for me. Having like a constant weekly show where I could just yell at people was pretty fun. But then also I sort of IRL. I did have a lot of IRL achievements, but I really want to focus on one, staying alive like the rest of us here, and two, I actually joined 2 D&D groups, which are a hella fun, and I think everyone should join them. Having them around. I know Dom wants to start one, and I'm excited if that ever takes off. For 2021, I kind of want to do DM my own D&D group, but I have no idea if I'll ever be able to do that. But for Eve, I definitely, and this is going to be like a subtle jab at CCP / subtle humble brag about 2020. I either want to participate in the Alliance tournament, or I want to be staffing, doing some sort of work on the Alliance tournament. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Ooh. Hey, it's funny. The only way that I'm on this show is because Rain was like talking shit to me in chat. I was like, fucking come on and say it to our face. And now I'm here.
You're even a mod here, too.
Yep. He's a mod on the server. Just fantastic stuff. All right, Rich, how about you?
Well, it was a year where I really got involved in things in Eve, and well, my most trusty friend, my best friend, is well, they're quite proud of what I've done, and it warms my heart to hear that from them. As for the 2021, well, I hope things get better because this year is a rather bleak year for everybody.
True enough, dude. All right. And then Sager?
I actually have 3 things. So this year, most fun event I've ever been a part of, World War Chappie, killing Convict in the Leviathan, total blast, total awesome, right? Whole community came together just to celebrate one guy. It was great.
Yeah.
And then the Goon War. This has just been fun. So there's that. Coming up in 2021, do better than I did this year, I guess, and to actually see you do 3 times a week.
Hint.
Ooh, what a nice jab to end 2020 on.
That's so sad, dude. All right, Unknown?
Can I do a very, very short story?
Yeah.
Okay. So about a month ago, I was wormhole dread ratting. I was averaging like 3 bill an hour. And I've never been actually contested while I was wormhole dread ratting. And I got rolled into by Hard Knocks. They had 8 Lesheks and a Dreadnought, and I actually got out because they didn't kill my Wee2 for some reason. It's actually kind of weird that like wormholers never target the Wee2. I don't know why. Anyways, they bat-phoned Bomber's Bar, and Bomber's Bar chased me 8 jumps in nullsec, deep nullsec, and finally killed me. That was fun.
In a Dreadnought?
Yeah. I was in a
Were you
Naglfar.
gating a nag?
Yeah, I had to.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
That's actually pretty tough to do. 8 fucking jumps in a capital.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would have
two
logged
jumps
off
to
there.
Sharon, and I want to kill myself.
So what
Jump
about
to Celestial,
2021?
make a save.
You want to take 9 jumps, right?
Oh, for 2021? I'll lose 100 bill. Wait, so you know how to learn a ship you need to lose it 20 times? Well, I'm into capital PvP, so I need to lose 20 dreads. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll lose 20 dreads.
Wait, who told you
Tell
that?
me
That's
where
not.
and when.
That's not the rule. Who told you that?
Yeah,
Just tell me where and when.
I've lost 20 dreads, and it doesn't fucking help me fuck all.
No, so 100 then.
Tell me where and when. I'll be there.
You'll probably get a ping. There's always a ping.
I'm still not good at gnosis or practices, and Jeremy can tell you I've lost a few of those.
Bill doesn't know how to fly a hound.
Amen.
So before Redline does his final his show, I do want to thank him and everyone else who puts on this show for starting it, allowing us knuckleheads to come on. You've done a really good thing for Eve. You should be proud of it. And I hope one of your goals for 2021 is growing it tenfold. But if it's not, well, I said it for you. But thank you very much for everything you've done.
Yeah, thanks for being a great friend, Redline.
Thank you, Redline.
Triple what that said.
You guys are gonna make me cry.
I actually want to see those tears.
No, there's not gonna be any tears.
What?
But
Got a
anyway,
bucket red.
there's no buckets. All right. So for my best part of 2020, I would have to say that this show is probably the best thing in 2020 for me. Probably the best thing that I feel like I've done in a long fucking time. And I appreciate you guys coming on. I know we started out with 6 people in a Discord channel just shooting the shit about random things that popped on that happened in Eve. We had probably like a dozen or so viewers, something like that. And then it grew and grew, and now it's this, the third best talk show broadcasting on Tuesdays at 0200 Eve. Whew. And also it's a part of this bigger thing, which I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but this New Eden Post is something that I'm trying because I really want to give a voice to everybody that maybe feels like they don't have one. You'll notice that there's been people that come on the show and they may not sound like they know everything because they probably don't, but everybody deserves a chance to speak their piece, basically. And that's kind of something that I want to translate into the New Eden Post stuff as well. So we are actively recruiting people that want to write, do art, even set up podcasts, anything like that. If you're interested in that, any kind of thing, there's a link there that you guys can check out. And that's been another big thing in 2020. And then for 2021, I want to get back to FCing again. I want to do more fun stuff in Eve because I miss it a lot. And I want to grow this community to be big and bad and beautiful. And that's what I want to do.